Guilty of crime.
And we're back. What's up, everybody? Come on in, do me a favor. Well, first of all, I'm Jay with Guilty of Crime. If you're new here, if you're part of the fam, welcome. Come on in, hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't, get a membership if you can. Yes, been having a couple minutes in between, and I'm like, hey, let's just start the show. That's funny. We've got some trolls in the house. Some trolls in the house. We're gonna ban them and put them out, so they have to make another account. What's up, everybody? How you doing? Come on in. You know what? I cannot get enough of this case, and it's not like I'm not following other cases and working all day, but this case is just a lot. And when in fact everybody thinks that this case is going cold or cooling down, I assure you it's quite the opposite. So before we get started, guys, today we're talking about the Nancy Guthrie case. Forensic expert reveals shocking new motive theory. Glove has a DNA match, and then we're going to go over what happened yesterday. Obviously, I also posted a short last night, and I thought, whoa, you know what? That happens a lot. What if law enforcement had Savannah and her family go out there to put the flowers down, as well as any other people coming along, so that they can you're gonna just keep coming in. All right, so they can't. You guys got to see this kind of stuff. That's why it makes it so funny when you got this kind of person right there that says Jay gives off lesbian vibes. Not good. Again, it's all in fun and games. We have 111. Hit that like button. Say a prayer for Savannah and the Guthrie family and Nancy that she's brought home. And then let's get rid of that person. Whoever comes in like that, just get them off the channel. They're not coming back. It's just otherwise we got people like this. Carrie that sent me the video, been a member for 20 months, and it's all love, guilty of crime family. So we don't need the trolls in. Yes, the reason I put the video on, guys, is because I'm sitting back and I'm thinking, and this happens a lot. Well, yeah, I do sit back and think. That happens a lot too. What's up, Flojo TV? How you doing? Now listen, what happens many times, law enforcement, especially with FBI, they will do a stakeout of the crime scene or scene of a partial crime or area where something was committed, right? Even they'll do a vigil and they'll have undercovers out there watching people at the vigil to see if those people are suspect. And I assure you that happens. Look at Brian Koberger. He is now convicted, and he went back to the crime scene in the morning to see what was going down, how his handiwork did. But what went wrong was they didn't wake up until noon, when they realized everybody had been unalived. All right. What's up, Flojo TV? Joanne says, Jay, I'm sorry people act like this. We love you and who you are. You're awesome. Well, thank you. We all, it's all love here. When the trolls have to come at me with lesbian or gay kind of thing or transgender, that just shows you they have no brain power because that's already been said. I'm 46 years old, y'all, and I've heard it all. That was actually a very nice comment. So keep the nice comments coming. And you're right. I'd rather give y'all attention than the people that just want to say bad stuff. Like who cares? You know what I'm saying? Been there, done that. I'm no, I'm not a spring chicken. We're all good in the hood. Velvet Unicorn, how you doing? Tony, Mama Sage, the great one, Julio. Thank you. Sadie's mama, all love to you. Yeah, we don't, it's all good. Exactly. It's low hanging fruit. And for those of us that are guilty of crime, we don't go for low hanging fruit. We go for the fruit that we have to climb in the trees to get. Well, we have to think about and we go for the fruit that's going to feed all of us, not just one person. And I'll take that, Mo Franjo. I'm going to be 47 in July. None of those things. Yeah. Gay vibes all day. Trolls. As a matter of fact, speaking of that, guys, I shipped out freaking 3 books today to the winners. Reason 111 why I'm gay. Well, I did write that book, didn't I? I guess I am giving off gay vibes. Well, thanks for the free advertisement, people. Now, Foxy, I sent you 5 of these bad boys and I signed them, and then I shipped out another 3 to the people that want one. So good. Help trolls, help me blow up my book and my channel. Go get my reason 111 why I'm gay. And again, it's one of those stories that tells you about my story, but I incorporate humor, and it will also help you if you know somebody that comes out to you and says, I've been wanting to tell you something. I'm gay. And you're like, oh, cool, no big deal. I saw that come in or whatever. Like, who cares? We're in 2026, baby. Let's go. Clark, good to see you. Big hugs. Thank you so much for getting that started off with the $1.99 super sticker or super chat. Yeah, it's all love here. So you know what I'm saying? We get a lot of love around here. So we're good to go. And we really want to bring Nancy Guthrie home, but we want to look at the obvious before we start going off into these tangents about Mexican cartels, because I assure you, I've talked to a few people in a Mexican cartel and other cartels, and I don't think that they would want to bring attention to this like this case is happening. They would not go to TMZ and put a ransom note, I assure you. So let's get rid of those theories. We're going to talk about the forensic expert theory and the theory about law enforcement, how they're tracking people, and why did someone decide to just trash the memorial? Why did they trash the memorial? Thank you, Felicia. Happy hump day, Jay, and everyone. Back at you. All love. What's up, Wolfpack? Good to see you. Good to see you. I wish you had a wrench. Number 46. Oh, I'm like, number 46. Gotta get your skincare routine. Well, it's called good genetics, baby. All right, cheeky Jenza Gypsy. So I want to thank you, Carrie, for sending me the video. I am not by any means talking about Annie or Tommaso being a suspect. The whole point is, and I'm going to give you guys all up to date. My whole point on that video was, damn, when you see something, it's hard to unsee. And then I started thinking about it, and I'm like, wait a minute. Law enforcement purposely sets those moments up so they can track. Now, you remember they put cameras everywhere and security. They're watching this stuff. And whether it's these people or other people that came back, it was okay. So the mailman, it was the mailman delivery truck. Okay. Well, regardless, thank you, Roxy, for putting that out there. The bottom line of that whole thing is there's a lot of weird stuff going on. So the mailman messed it up, but there's also weirdos coming out and just things that are happening. I was losing interest in this case, so it sounds promising. No, I please don't lose interest. There's absolutely lots of new promising information, I assure you. All right. So this is who we're looking for still. This is who we're talking about. I'm going to tell you Please don't lose interest. This case is not going cold. It's the opposite. It's heating up, and I'll tell you why. And then we'll get into everything else. We're going to talk about the glove and the DNA matching that. We're going to talk about the forensic theories, the elder abuse theory, and yes, we can get an amen, Carrie. Amen. Amen. Love you, girl. All right. And all the mods, thank you for being here. Whoever's here, I see some people, chats kind of going. Foxy, hopefully Tiff rolls in and we get the crew sent, all that. All right, much love, guys. Let's do this. Let me just start off real quick with what in the hell is going on March 4th, 2026. What do we know so far? And no, don't worry, I am not going to make you listen to the officer talk and blah, blah, blah. I'm just going to summarize the stuff for you. I think she will be found, but I think it's absolutely a recovery. Although Barney Fife does say he thinks she's still alive, I'd like to know why he thinks that. And Valerie says, trolls, be gone. Poof, they're gone. Mr. Bot, how you doing? Good to see you. Thank you, Valerie. Appreciate that. Mr. Mabster's in the house. What's up? All right, let's just kick off. I'm gonna just pull this up so you can kind of go along with me quickly. Today is March 4th, 2026. The investigation has clearly accelerated, and the evidence and the picture is now much more defined than it was 2 weeks ago. We are on day 32. Now, what follows is a consolidated, structured breakdown of the public evidence and what Pima County Sheriff Chris Nanos said yesterday, and who has been detained and who has not been detained, and are they cleared? That's a huge thing we're going to talk about today, is who are the people detained and have they been cleared, or are they suspects? All right, so let's continue with the evidence overview. What we know so far, guys: the case shifted from a broad missing person to a focused criminal investigation. And right now it's driven by digital forensics, surveillance review, and targeted leads that law enforcement have. And I got to assure you, those are targeted leads. You cannot, and I repeat, cannot get a federal search warrant for just a hunch about somebody's eyes. All right. And no, they're not, they're set to release the car, but we just don't know yet. I'm going to show you that video in a second. Now, listen, when you're talking about DNA, digital forensic, surveillance review on the cameras, and targeted leads, I don't know where anybody would say this case is going cold. All right. We've got the doorbell camera footage from February 1st, which is what we've been, flashing up here. Right. We got that. We're still following those leads and trying to beating our head against the wall. Like, we got to know this person. Then we've got the masked, gloved individual, and we're now saying it's a 2-person theory or more. We also got the distinctive Walmart exclusive backpack, which investigators have emphasized as a key traceable item, which may have come from eBay or Amazon through a third party. The individual appeared to be armed, according to FBI, so they are looking for holsters, guns, and then they also talked about possibly walkie-talkies or something in their pocket. All speculation. But we also have surveillance videos from the neighboring roads. The cameras on Camino Real, a back road out of Catalina Foothill, captured vehicles passing through the area around the time. And it's not just one vehicle, guys. Some of the cameras were not reviewed initially, and investigators have gone back to re-examine them. So I want you to know that FBI went back to their headquarters. They went back to their headquarters to review the surveillance. They have more, they have more tools back at where their home base is. So just because they left from Tucson and went back to Phoenix, I assure you, they're not just dipping out on us. Good to see you, my girl Tiff. I'm glad you're here. All right. So thousands of hours they have to review. As of March 2nd and 3rd, FBI and Pima County are pouring over thousands of hours of surveillance footage. And this marks a shift from boots on the ground to digital forensic and high value lead analysis. Now, I want you to know that these people are not cleared. The people that have been detained and released are not cleared. Okay, so the backpack, it's an exclusive model. We might hit a dead end with that unless somebody comes forward. It's a cheap backpack. All right. We got vehicle leads. Sheriff Nanos confirmed that investigators are analyzing a car seen on surveillance video. Maybe, just maybe it's a Kia, but there's other ones. Now, the vehicle hasn't publicly been tied to anything, but right now we have what we had in the Koberger case, and we have a vehicle that was in or around the area about that time, and we have DNA that they've said is in the house, and they believe they're going to find out whose DNA that is. All right. Forensic work, a homicide team is now involved, but investigators are still operating under the assumption that Nancy is alive. So if you guys heard that, they are operating under that way. Does it mean they mean that? Not necessarily, because they do these things to bait us and to get leads. All right. Now, thousands of leads have been processed. I don't know about Barney Fife here. Barney Fife is telling us we got hundreds of thousands of cars. Like, really? I don't think there's hundreds of thousands of cars out there at night, buddy. But yeah, I get it. We get it. Barney Fife, we understand. You haven't been in you're not an FBI. You haven't dealt with this. So let me just sum up what Chris Nanos, aka Barney Fife, said yesterday. Multiple interviews he's given us. The most important points are we are definitely closer. All right. Nanos told NBC that the investigators are making measurable progress and are definitely closer to identifying the suspect. The case is entering a critical phase, and he emphasized that the investigation has progressed significantly over the past month and is now in a critical phase. The homicide team assigned, but guys, they do say that they assume she's alive. Now, the homicide unit is working the case, but Nanos stressed to everybody that they are not treating Nancy as deceased. All right. So maybe this is going to help them for people to move faster, because once they say they think she's no longer with us, then it's not so urgent. All right. So this reflects the seriousness of the investigation, and it's not a conclusion about her fate, but I do think that she's no longer with us. If she is, that would be wonderful. All right. So what he knows and doesn't know: a masked, armed suspect was at the door, backpacks traceable, a vehicle was in the area around that time. Investigators are closer, they say, to identifying the suspect. Thousands of leads have been processed. And what we don't know still is the identity of the suspect, whether the suspect has acted alone, whether the suspect had prior knowledge of Nancy or the home, and whether Ransom communications are legitimate, or how many people are they coming from. All right. So yeah, we've got, guys, you guys got to realize that this case is not cooling down. Thank you, Mimi. I don't think so either. But we do want to say a big prayer for the family, because, there's a lot going on. If people can't see that, I'm here to tell you, this is like a big tangled web. Detentions, interviews, who's cleared and who's not. People have been detained and questioned. Now, Luke Daly, we talked about him the day before last. He was briefly detained, released without charges, and he's not considered a suspect, but no other individuals have been publicly confirmed as detained. I don't know why they say that here, because we also have Mr. Carlitos, which I still, in my opinion, he's not cleared. Now, the public's confirmation that any family member, neighbor, or associate have been detained beyond routine interviews, we don't know. And we don't know about the clearance. We're going to talk about that. No one has been formally cleared, according to all reports, not formally, and law enforcement has not named any suspects or persons of interest. They also have not ruled anyone out publicly. All right. This is consistent with how agencies handle high-profile abductions. They avoid clearing individuals unless absolutely necessary. All right. Now, could law enforcement be letting people visit the house to see who returns? Let's take a look at that. I'm going to get off of this, and we are going to let's do this. Let's just take a look at um let's take a look back at what happened yesterday and then watch Tommaso and them walk up there in that clip that I showed you. But let's start with this. And then we'll get to the glove and
Guthrie's house. There's been some action today. First of all, there were some people that showed up that seemed like they were maybe doing some work on the house, locksmiths.
sorry.
They were by the front door of the house. They were then at the back of the house. There's also these private searchers that have shown up with metal detectors going up and down the street outside Nancy's house. They said they were maybe looking for jewelry or a bracelet. So kind of interesting. They're still out here right now. The sheriff gave NBC News an interview. You've been asking for an interview, but he hasn't responded. But he did give NBC News an interview, said that he does not think it's a cold case, that he thinks they'll solve it. A lot of stuff he's said previously. He said they're looking at hundreds of thousands of cars, which is kind of interesting when he was asked specifically about that new video from 2.5 miles away that came out last week. He said we're looking at that plus hundreds of thousands of other cars, which is a really big number.
Yeah, it doesn't sound legitimate, but it sounds like he's over exaggerating and like, hey, we're doing our job, right? And then remember the people back at the site and people closely watching them. What would they do that for?
And with the backpack, remember the backpack that they said was bought at Walmart? He's now saying that they're considering that it may the suspect may have gotten it secondhand. So maybe he didn't actually buy it at Walmart, but bought it secondhand after someone else already bought it at Walmart. So that was kind of the update from his interview. I'll keep you guys posted with anything else that happens today.
That's why I'm not making y'all watch that interview because well, it's just as boring as all the other ones, and there's not a lot to be deemed from him because he uses a language that, well, the way he speaks and what he says is not particularly commanding, nor is it dominate. He kind of says, all right, just quickly, I'm gonna put this up. I'm not putting the volume because it's the Twilight Zone volume and it's really loud. And just to my point, and thank you, Carrie. Carrie put this together. And I was already thinking, can law enforcement be letting people visit the house to bait them? And standard investigative practices, investigators do monitor a victim's home or a crime scene to see if the suspect returns to the scene. They also can control access to the property. Well, they already messed that up to preserve the evidence. So in this case, the home has been treated as an active crime scene. And the first 48 hours were pretty botched, but the family has only been seen laying flowers outside. All right. Only outside. So let's just take a look at this. It's hard to unsee when you watch this. And I know they've been cleared, but this is Tommaso and Annie and Savannah putting the flowers down. Watch his walk and his walk. It's just, I can't unsee it. And I wish I could. Let's see if I can make it bigger. Hold on. Hopefully you guys have a big TV so you can see the walk, the way the legs are, the skinniness, the dragging, the hunching over. It's so, like, I can't unsee it, guys. Did anybody watch this? What's up, Saucy Skins? Good to see you. Did anyone take a look at this already? I had 2,100 views, but I mean, look at that. The way he bends down, the way he moves, look at the legs spread apart, the dragging the feet. All right, if you guys, I'm going to just let it play for a second. Do you guys, even though they say that Tommaso was cleared, am I crazy and looking at the Tommaso, how he walks and how he moves? Does anyone else think that it looks similar? Annie and Tommaso gave weird vibes during this sobbing. I know, but look at the walk, look at the posture, I mean, everything about it has me freaked out. That's what I'm saying. Yes, Valerie. Yes, Jay. Once you see it, you can't unsee it. I hate that. Although I do appreciate you. Yeah, it's very close. Very close. Look, day 32, the inside fucking job. Oh no, yeah, definitely. I would not go with definitely I would definitely not say this is a Mexican drug cartel, because that's not how they roll. All right, anyway, you guys can go watch this. Thank you, Carrie. It has the Twilight Zone sound on it because, well, it feels like we're in the Twilight Zone. So let's get up to date, and then we're going to get into the evidence, the glove, the theories, and all of that, because it's just hard to stop. I can't stop thinking about this case, and I mean, rightfully so. Rightfully so. It feels like our mother has been kidnapped.
Sheriff Chris Nanos says that he is confident the Nancy Guthrie case will be solved. This comes 1 month after Guthrie was last seen.
12 News journalist Jade Cunningham has more on what he says about this investigation. And there were some other developments as well, Jade, today.
People hoping this case will have a resolution, including the Guthrie family and Sheriff Nanos, saying he is confident that that again would happen. Now, today, for the first time, we saw Savannah and her sister Annie outside their mom's home. And this is video from News Nation showing an emotional moment as the two, along with Savannah.
And again, they've been cleared, and I appreciate all of your honesty about this or that, or, that's what we're here for. We're just looking, we're just talking, and I am not pointing my fingers at them. It's just this case is like that. You see one person, you're like, damn, I can't get that out of my head. Well, you know why we also can't? Because nobody's formally been cleared. What happened to those people? They're out there giving interviews, and when the person that's interviewing them asks them what they talked about, they say nothing. But then they say that they contradict themselves a lot. So the perp in the front of the house is left-handed. They're also thinking that there's two. They're finally starting to go towards the theory that there are two people, which if we get through this first part, then I'll show you, because Nancy Grace just stopped her episode, and the last 35 minutes or so, man, there's some good stuff in there. My mom died last March, and her and Nancy were the same age. I can't even begin to know how terrible they must be feeling. Amen. And prayer for you, Laura. I mean, I don't even want to know how that feels. My mom is 71 years old, and I don't even want to go there. I don't want to think about it. Yeah, I think there was one perp in the front and one perp in the back being held. I know that, Liz, I'm telling you, this is wildest stuff. You can clear till it's solved. What kind of dumbass would clear anyone? Exactly. And that's why I loop back to this. All right, let's continue. We got a lot today.
Savannah's brother-in-law were seen carrying yellow flowers down Guthrie's driveway. They were walking arm in arm, taking a moment to look at the memorial that's just been growing near Guthrie's mailbox. People have been leaving letters, yellow flowers, and other items in honor of Nancy Guthrie, with the hopes that she'd soon be found. And they too left their flowers before embracing each other. They did not talk to cameras, but shortly after, Savannah posted on Instagram saying, quote, "We feel the love and prayers from our neighbors, from the Tucson community, and from around the country. Please don't stop praying and hoping with us. Bring her home." Guthrie was reported missing February 1st. Families since have been hoping and praying for any sort of answers into her disappearance. Pima County Sheriff Chris Nanos sat down with NBC News today to talk about the investigation. He says they are still combing through tips, photos, and surveillance, as well as.
And guys, they have a lot to comb through. So going back to their home office really does help them to have the tools they need to lighten the videos, darken the videos, isolate them. You know what I'm saying? All of that. So you say Savannah's a pro. She knows it's never too late. She's playing the role to get the guilty ones. Agreed. And she's playing the sympathetic role for sympathize with me, but I also sympathize with you. She's doing a great job at it, I gotta say. All right. Yes. Make your mothers proud. I lost my mom when I was 23. She was 42. Oh, way too soon. I'm sorry, Wolfpack. It's always too soon, right? Even if our moms get to 99, it's still too soon, in my opinion.
Looking at DNA, which he is hopeful will eventually identify a person of interest. And he was asked about how many investigators and people are working this case. Here's what he had to say.
This has always been the Pima County Sheriff's Department case, always has. But we know that we can't solve it by ourselves, so we utilize the media, we utilize our community.
I mean, this guy, every time you hear him talk, it's like he's having a pissing contest with FBI. It's the weirdest thing, but as long as this case gets solved and he's doing what he's supposed to now that the first 48 hours kind of got out of control, it's just hard to believe what he says.
In their response. We utilize other agencies, Border Patrol, FBI, and others. And so that's all this is. You really have to put your egos aside and say, hey, we're here to solve a crime. And so
I think he's telling himself, hey, you got to put your ego aside. Oh, my goodness. Tell yourself, Barney.
As to the total numbers, today it may be 20 people, it may be 10 people. But I know my homicide team and the FBI has a team that are dedicated to nothing but this case.
Well, the Guthrie family has also announced, if you remember, that $1 million reward for Guthrie's recovery. You can, again, report anonymously. All you have to do is just call 1-800-CALL-FBI. Troy.
All right, does anyone even want to see what happened to her thing now that you guys know and it's all spoiled? I knew that it got tore apart and it was a possibility that a car had hit it, but I thought, hey, why not watch? It's only a few minutes. JLR, of course, was on the scene.
JLR investigates. Day 31, where is Nancy Guthrie? Someone ran into this memorial. There was all types of flowers all over the road here. That's crazy because she has a memorial in front of her house, Nancy Guthrie, and people have been laying flowers, cards. And I came here this morning. I'm just going to put the last two over, but somebody like literally in there and ran it over, and all these flowers were all over the place this morning. It's crazy how someone ran into this. Maybe because they can't see because it's pitch black out.
It is pitch black, but guys, if you've been watching this, there's a bunch of crazies going out there. You got the neighbors out there with the guy on his bike. That's like, get the F out of here. You're just doing nothing. You've got the tweaker guy that was out there tweaking and talking and tweaking. You got somebody hitting this. You've got people coming over there. I mean, there's a lot of weird stuff going on. I gotta say, and I'm trying not to be consumed by this case because Dolly's on site again. I believe he went down there today. I saw him in the car, and JLR, you can get stuck just watching nothing for hours. And the only thing that's happening is just remember the guy that got a DUI because he smoked too much weed, kept driving back and forth with the picture of Nancy. What happened to him? And why did he have a picture of Nancy? Anyway, it's weird.
Out here at night, the flowers were everywhere this morning. So I'm going to kind of like put them off the road, which I've been doing. Some of the flowers are ripped.
I know.
Annie left this card yesterday when she came to the house with Tommaso and Savannah. But man, be careful when you're driving out here. I'm sure people will go.
And guys, they blocked this off so people can stay away, but they're not staying away. It's quite the opposite. All right. So, and by the way, thank you, Foxy, for the Guilty of Crime membership. If you received it, please thank her. Guys, I'm gonna give 5 more memberships. If anyone wants to gift or you need one, make sure you hit that like button. You want to match, help towards a goal, that'd be awesome. Let's continue.
Off the road, there's no lighting here. Maybe it was purposely done. Who knows? Let's talk about the case right here. I'm going to spin the camera around. It is day 31. Nancy Guthrie has still not been found. And the neighborhood is quiet. News Nation has a tent here across the street from the Guthrie home. No other media outlet is here right now. No one's here at the News Nation booth. It is right before light. Now, a car just pulled up. This gentleman here.
Hey, Rocco.
He's searching. We'll call him Map Guy. And this individual, I'm gonna spin the camera around. Just talk to you for a second, Map Guy. Map Guy, what?
You see, I didn't even see Map Guy. We got Tweaker Guy, we got DUI Guy, we got Map Guy. Let's just listen for a minute, because if you haven't been watching the footage, you'll just get a little taste of what the heck's going on around that area, and you don't have to watch it on your own.
What's going on?
Hey, so I've got the map out actually, but
Map Guy.
we're going to congregate here this morning and put a couple people together and then move our cars. Sounds like to the northern part of the neighborhood and kind of do a little ground search. Just if you want to point to this area, this is the Catalina foothills. Here's Campbell. The Nancy's would be right into here, but we're going to park in here and we're going to do a little search around this area.
Definitely going to be monitoring it. Why are you here? You came from the East Coast.
Yes, it's just easier to do things when you're here on the ground, boots on the ground, than to type behind a computer. And this is going to help me.
Thank you, Nina.
Sleep better at night, just knowing that I did my part.
Thank you. All right. So a group of individuals are going to be coming here searching, but it is quiet out here. No parking out here, as you know. Right here, they have a parking restriction in the neighborhood. All the media has gone away. And then this is Nancy Guthrie's house. There's no Pima County Sheriff's, nobody here guarding the house. They have a security. It's called Simply Safe out here. We watched the family install the system around their house, get ladders and go up their house here. This is the doorway here where this all happened. How did the perp get inside this home? It still remains a mystery. And what happened inside that home February 1st? Was there?
Now, they really can't and they shouldn't let too much out. I think it's a mistake to talk too much, obviously. And I think the cat is out of the bag. We've been talking about multiple people, but I think with what they're saying, that they absolutely, law enforcement believes there's a second individual and even beyond that. But some people criticize because they're saying, why are you letting them know? It is a little too late, but they can still see who's coming back to the area and what's going on.
Blood anywhere. We know that there was blood on the doorstep. There's also no trespassing signs. And this is it. This is the scene. It's still quiet out here, but there are groups of people that still want to search. Now, I just want to point out something over here that, let's see if we can zoom it in. The floor mat is still...
That's crazy.
...in front of Nancy's front door. I don't know why they didn't take the floor mat there. Maybe it's evidence. Maybe they can get something, you know, in reference to shoes, or try to figure out a footprint or something to try to identify the size of the feet of the perp, or maybe the key was under there and that's how the perp got in, because we still don't know how the perp got in.
Yeah, I mean, this is all speculation. I just wanted to show you what happened with the flowers. It wasn't somebody that was pissed off. It was simply a mail truck or a truck that accidentally hit the flowers. There's been a lot of weird things out there. And Ray Jean, I'm sure the kidnappers, and quote, those are air quotes because I don't think that was even a kidnapping, maybe a possible extortion of directly to Nancy Guthrie that didn't work out. But you don't take the body with you in that case with what's happened. If it had been a crime scene and she died there, they would have left her there. So again, we're going to get into that. Joanne Allen, thank you so much for the $9.99 super chat. Look at the ski mask. Look, you see an underlying. So it does. It looks like someone put pantyhose over their face and smashed it. And then on top of the pantyhose that they have a mask. Absolutely. I'm so glad that you guys got memberships that needed them. All right, let's pull this down because we probably already seen this, but we're going to officially talk about that dang glove. That the good news is they matched it to someone. The bad news is it's a dead end. All right. Missing Nancy Guthrie investigation takes a major turn as DNA on the mysterious glove is finally matched. So the good news is that it was matched and it wasn't too degraded, which leads me to believe that they're going to do just fine with the DNA that they got from the house, from the bed, from the blankets. Remember, there's a theory out there that she was possibly raped and there was, some kind of fluids from a person. All right. Darn, no name. So that's one of the theories, but that's not my theory. What I do know is that's going to help with their DNA collection in terms of finding out who it is. So look at guys, authorities made a major break in the case, but all at the same time, it's also not by identifying that DNA that was found on the suspicious black glove. Remember, there's a black glove they found in the house, and there was a black glove that was 2.5 miles away from Tucson, Arizona, where Savannah Guthrie lived. 84-year-old mom who was kidnapped All right. It was about 2.5 miles away, just a black glove, and it was there for weeks. They didn't find it for at least 2 weeks, but it has resulted in another dead end. Now, the glove, Sheriff Barney Fife says the glove has nothing to do with the Nancy Guthrie case. At the time, the suspicious glove that seemingly matched the one the suspect was seen wearing was taken into evidence. And that was 2 weeks after. All right. So there were more than a dozen other areas that reportedly left behind the investigators. There was talk and discussion that it was police officers out in the field discarding them. We know that at the time was what they said. But what I'm getting to is that it linked back to a worker. And we talked about somebody making food with those gloves. He then revealed why so many gloves were in the area. He said, we believed wholeheartedly that the gloves belonged to a restaurant. And guess what? The owner of the glove we found that they found working at a restaurant across the street. So they did find where the glove belongs, but it has nothing to do with this case, is what they're saying. Okay, so they matched it, and it's a worker from the restaurant across the street. Nano said they're still trying to figure out the other DNA samples related to Nancy's abduction that have not come back with an ID. All right. He says it's a challenge. It's a challenge because we know the DNA. We know we have DNA, but now we have to deal with the mixture, and we're going to separate it. All right. He explained it's a complicated process, and all of the DNA samples have been sent to a private lab in Florida for testing. And so far, no leads have resulted or given any clues as to who took Nancy by force from her home in the dead of night. All right, guys. So we're on day 32. This is day 32. And Nanos is trying to downplay how the case seems at a dead end as it enters day 32. But there's so much that everyone wants to know. He says, I would be very neglectful and irresponsible as a law enforcement leader to share that with everyone. You can't. There's an investigation. It's protocol to the effort. The sheriff claimed about how his department isn't sharing everything they've learned with the public, and rightfully so. Now, Nancy was last seen on January 31st after she was dropped off at her home from dinner with her daughter Annie and son-in-law Tommaso Cioni. All right, she has not been seen or heard from since. All right, so we're back to day 32. Authorities recovered some doorbell footage with the masked men. Yesterday, the Guthries were there. That's the first time we've seen Annie and Tommaso, and we up to $1 million and above reward. Okay, so that glove, guys, was a absolute nothing burger. All right, you know what else was a nothing burger? Those flowers being on the ground. The reason it was a nothing burger is because nobody did that on purpose, number one. And number two, with the glove, it doesn't match onto anybody for anything. I know. They're in day 32, Christine. Can you imagine not knowing where your mother was for 32 days and getting strung along with different ransom notes that might not even be from the same people? Probably like, why is this taking so long? Come get me. I want my chicken dinner. I don't want to be here with these damn kidnappers. All right, let's talk about this. We also have cell phone analysis. And I want you to remember, please, please, please remember that we're talking about new motives in this case. It's not necessarily new. It's just, it's a motive. Okay. It's a motive. But here's the thing. We still have lots of cell data that needs to come back and lots of digital evidence that's taking time. They detained multiple people, and I want you to know they detained them and they took their phones. They don't have their phones back, and they haven't given the cars back yet. So what is it that they're doing? I'm still wondering what glove was a match. So the glove that was a match was the one in the house. The one in the house had, they said I don't know if it was a match, but there was another glove in the house that they were able to pull DNA from. But they said the DNA that they pulled from the actual crime scene was only people that they know that were supposed to be in the house, and they couldn't find anything in CODIS. Oh, it's absolutely, in my opinion, it's absolutely personal, right? So let's not forget, they're still going through cell data.
Investigation for 84-year-old Nancy Guthrie, who went missing from her home in the foothills, as investigators continue to look for answers. Today marks day 31 in the search, and the Pima County Sheriff's Department says that the case has been handed over to a task force. We know that. We also know that the task force, consisting of 5 Pima County homicide detectives as well as FBI.
Now we're on day 32. I think this came out at like 9 o'clock last night, and I sent it to myself so we can look at what happened as we roll over into day 32. I mean, there's not a lot of new information today, but what is in the case is the glove is ruled out. We're still waiting on DNA evidence. We have cell phone data and pings that they're still working on.
Agents. The investigators will be operating out of the Tucson FBI office as authorities continue to investigate leads, tips, and videos. And right now, a nonprofit volunteer group from Louisiana says they are ready to bring lots of resources to help investigators in their search. News for Tucson's Andrew Capasso was at PCSD headquarters with more on their group and their proposal for the sheriff.
That group is called the United Cajun Navy. They're not.
Now, listen, guys, they don't want their help. They don't want their help. Thank you, Justice for Noog. Much love to you as well. Flojo TV says, wasn't the glove they found the 2.5 miles away? Yes. Did you just miss that, my friend? Or did you cover your ears while I was talking? That I actually read that article, and the article said the glove that was 2.5 miles away was traced back to a restaurant worker that was not related to the case. So you did have to step away. Yes, you did. Barney Fife is full of it, guys. What's up, Andy? Good to see you, my girl. How you doing? Much love to you. All right, yeah, they don't want anybody's help. Cajun Navy's bad, you say? Yeah, they haven't done much thus far since I've been doing true crime. But hey, you'd think the more the merrier. Not in this case. I heard they're bogus. They are. It was a nothing burger. The big guy with the metal detector was a criminal network, aka Alex. Well, thank you. There's a lot going on out there, guys. Dolly's back. Did anyone see Dolly today?
Nonprofit. They've been around for about 20 years, and they say they've got a lot of additional ways to help investigators help find Nancy Guthrie. The group presenting the Pima County Sheriff's Department with both a strategic and a tactical plan. They say it lays out some things they can bring to the foothills and surrounding areas to help pin down where Nancy Guthrie is and is not. Some of those resources include live tracking and scent-specific dogs, drones, and more boots on the ground. Josh Gill is an incident commander. He says two of the biggest issues on the ground here right now, time and terrain. Now,
and guys, and Carrie, I know you haven't been here every day for the coverage, so you probably have a lot of questions. I'd love to try to answer them all, but I might make you have to go back and watch, because we're going to talk about this again today. The people that were detained and released had to get not only a warrant, but an emergency warrant that was signed off federally. So yes, 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 and yes. And no, nobody's been formally cleared. All right. I can't answer all of your questions, but I'll tell you that we've been talking about that all week long.
Now, more than a month into this investigation, he says the more help, the better.
Run down every clue, run down every tip. Doesn't matter how silly it is. Take them all very serious. It's a big healing process that needs to start, and I think it's going to start with, finding additional information and finding Miss Guthrie one way or the other.
That team was in Tucson just last week. Right now, they're waiting a response to the plan from the Pima County Sheriff's Department. Coming up at 5, more on the United Cajun Navy, how they say they can help investigators even more, and what PCSD is saying about that group and volunteers in general. Reporting at PCSD headquarters, I'm Andrew Capasso.
They obviously don't want your help, United KG. Now, I don't know much about them, but I do hear a lot of bad things. So you guys can talk about in chat why you don't like them or why they're not helping them. And also, while you're at it, folks, if you're going bald on the top, please don't just comb your hair forward. That's just that's a public service announcement. This guy on here, he said, I'm going bald. I'm just going to comb it forward instead. I'm sorry if I offend anyone, but I had to. This guy's just like, hey, I'm going bald. I'll just come in forward. Nobody will notice. What's up, Hyper Kimberly? We love you here too. Do me a favor, y'all. Hit that like button, subscribe, get yourself a membership, and take a look at the goal. I'm sorry. Sometimes I just crack myself up. I got you rolling on the floor, laughing your ass off, right? Well, thank you, Nina. I do appreciate you for that $5 super sticker. Guys, girls, ladies, gents, dogs, cats, whatever. If you're going bald, just embrace it. I assure you it's not a windy day. Synth says, whose house was Nancy supposed to go to on Sunday to watch church service? The church friend is keeping private. What were the cameras found? Exactly. We don't, the camera found on the roof, they're still looking through. We know nothing about. Church friend doesn't want to be in public. It's just a friend that she goes to church with, doesn't want to be named. And whose house, they did not tell us. So, all right, guys, and you've been here every day, girl. No sign of slow eyes yet. All right, world championship. I'd rather see a bald man than a comb over. Yes, call it the swoop. All right, member for 10 months. Yes, embrace who you are, even if you're bald. Right now, 333 people are in chat. If you know, you know. That's a mad angel number. Please say a prayer for Nancy Guthrie that she's brought home sooner than later. All right. Oh man, you guys are funny today. Y'all ready to not be so serious either. All right, we got to do a members only stream where we can just crap talk at some point. All right, let's talk about the cell phone data because I want you to know and I want you to keep in the back of your mind that there were several people that have been detained. Carlitos, we got Luke and his mom in those interviews. We've got, I mean, I need to get a pie chart. So we're going to talk about those people and what happened to them and how are they cleared? How are they not cleared? Just what happened? The law enforcement stormed in, detained people, took their cars and just told us nothing. But those people are out talking on the news. What? Funny today. Oh, it's just me. Okay. All right. I get it. All right, let's talk about the cell phone. And remember, this is stuff that's all out there that's coming back. They're waiting for the search warrants and the warrants that they pulled because they did take people's phones. All right, they took their phones, their cars, and we don't know what else, but they haven't given them back.
Into the search for Nancy Guthrie, investigators are still poring over thousands of tips. But could the missing piece of evidence simply be the suspect's cell phone?
Think of treating your phones, your cameras, your computers as a crime scene. We dig in to uncover the truth.
Heather Barnhart is a digital forensics expert who worked on the Brian Koberger investigation. She helped build the case against him by tracking his cell phone data on the route between his home and the scene of the murders. She says it's likely the person who took Nancy Guthrie also left a digital.
And guys, it's crazy because with the Koberger case, it's very similar in what information, I don't even want to call it evidence that we have thus far. We have DNA. We have a vehicle that's possibly on the scene at that time, right? And then we've got the DNA that's going to go to genetic genealogy. Thank you, Annie Gemini. Prayers for Nancy. Absolutely. All right. Remember, they got the people that they detained. They took their cell phones. And I know we're going to hear it a little bit. At least one of them didn't even get it back.
Footprint.
How do you think digital forensics will be able to be used in this Nancy Guthrie case?
Think about the digital traces that we leave behind with every single thing we do every day. Your phone is constantly pinging cell towers. Even if you turn it off, that creates a period of interest. So once a person of interest is identified, the fact that their phone is no longer pinging any tower is of interest. Even if you're out on the street in front of my house, chances are good that your phone will ping my Wi-Fi. And some people's routers will actually track devices that were potentially connected.
And guys, trust me when they look at patterns, okay? Trust me that they do look at patterns. If they were to look at my pattern on my phone and see that day for 8 hours I didn't have my phone, didn't use my phone, and I had left it somewhere, but then they seen my vehicle going down the street or the freeway, I assure you they would know, because there's activity all day, all night, all the time on that phone, whether it's coming in, going out. It just doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that anymore. So listen, dumb criminals, if you're trying to pull off something like, especially a kidnapping, don't send your letters to TMZ, and don't use your cell phones, or use your cell phones, because they're going to see. All right, a lot of elders. Okay, this is what we're going to do. Thank you for saying that. CB moment time. A lot of elders missing. Someone is purposely doing this. We're going to get to that right after this possible theory that even when it's off. Yeah. Yes. All right, let's continue.
Pima County Sheriff Chris Nanos tells us his team has been looking into cell phone data.
Has cell tower data information provided any clues to where the suspect could have been in the neighborhood?
I think the cell data towers have helped us in, eliminating people and looking at things and different things. And there's still a lot of that data that needs to be looked at.
But Barnhart says sussing out these leads takes time.
I feel like investigators have such a tough job with this, but they're really trying to find a needle in a haystack, and it's not easy. But once they find one thread, the entire case will unravel.
And in that interview we did with the sheriff this week, we also asked him about the timing of those surveillance images.
And again, they keep saying that you can see the moon on one frame, it's all lit up behind, and then another night it's not. But what if that weren't the moon? What if it were somebody behind them that had a light as well? We don't know. And thank you, Carrie, for the questions you sent. But I'm sure that Nancy used the garage door to get in and out, because it's easier when someone's picking you up and you use a cane or a walker. It's much easier to walk through a garage door. All right. Hearing aids. They didn't tell us about her hearing aids or cane. We know she wore hearing aids and the cane. They didn't even told us anything about the inside of the house. Was her phone in the house? Well, they haven't told us that. I'm sure it was. Why do they care about an earring? Well, because if somebody took off the earring and they got touch DNA on it, then they can get DNA. What about the cameras on the roof? Carrie says, well, they're looking at those right now while they go back to FBI headquarters. Why haven't they said she had an electrical work done to her house recently? Because they're not talking about evidence that is just speculation that they don't know. They don't want us going after the painters or the people that mow the lawn. They don't want us putting them on, in the media spotlight. All right. She left them there. Everything was. Yeah, we assume everything's there, and we haven't seen a thing from that house. All right. Yes, her phone, her glasses, hearing aids, all in the nightstand. Thank you, I Am Two Bear. As far as we know, nothing went anywhere except for her. I wonder, could they be moving her around if alive, like along a trailer moving? It just doesn't seem like that, Hyper Kimberly. That's the only thing. It doesn't seem like somebody would be putting that type of effort into this when they never even left a ransom note.
Despite what some law enforcement sources have said, he maintains that investigators still cannot say definitively if one of those images was taken at an earlier date prior to the abduction. But the sheriff did tell us that he does believe it is the same person in all of those images. Hoda.
All right, Liz, thank you. Looking for that single thread. As always, if you have any information that could be helpful, please call the FBI's tip line. That number again, 1-800-CALL-FBI.
Hey, thanks for watching. And don't forget, you can catch.
So sad. Just so sad. Say a prayer that Nancy Guthrie is brought home to her family. Now, Savannah said it, and I've said it. Savannah didn't say it this way, but she said, hey, we want her brought home no matter what. If she's going home, if she's already gone home to the Lord, we just want her body. All right. So let's talk about the theory of people, of the older people and being targeted, because that is happening around that area as well. All right. Hey, Janet Rawlings, good to see you. Oh, yeah. How you doing? Good to see you. Didn't the PCA for Carlitos say have medical devices? That's a good question. Somebody could let me know about that. In my opinion, Tommaso being the last one to see her draw the attention away, kidnapping them, not to be the first one that she's missing. Let the church lady report her missing. Yeah, there's a lot of weird things in this case, but we're going to get into this with Joseph Morgan here in a minute because what the theory about Nancy Guthrie possibly being taken advantage of. Somebody earlier said that there's a lot of elders in that area that retire and they have money. Well, Joseph Scott Morgan told Jesse Weber and Brian Enton that throughout his career in Atlanta and New Orleans, he has worked 0 cases that were purely motivated by a ransom. Now, you guys have to know that these people are not pushing for money. If they were, one of the kidnappers, if there was a kidnapper, would already be trying to get that untraceable $1 million so they can get rid of this lady that they have to take care of. Now, obviously, I don't feel that way about Nancy, but I assure you, if somebody was doing this for a ransom, it would just be another old lady's body that they can get rid of and get their money and get back to work. Okay. So, you know, the case I've worked, elder abuse, Morgan Scott said. I've had people that have taken advantage of elderly because they knew they had money and they bum rushed them into their house. They snatched them out of there, or they do terrible things like capital M word inside of the house. Now, she is much more valuable target to them if they had foreknowledge of whose mother she was. Remember, the Savannah and her were very publicly together on the Today Show. They went out to this particular restaurant every time that they loved. All right. That doesn't take a deep dive to find out. And so they think that they can get anything out of her. And I think that comes to local knowledge. Now, this is me quoting Joseph Scott Morgan. The local knowledge Morgan mentioned led into the second idea that someone was either aware of Guthrie's family ties or there was gang involvement, which I don't think. But let's hear what he says. Is this someone's grandson that might be in the neighborhood that has knowledge that's been talking about this for a protracted period of time? I wonder, is it gang related? I wonder what they're pressing relative to gang associations in Pima County because this smacks of this relative to targeting her. Police have already said Guthrie's family was not involved in her disappearance and are working several other angles. All right, let's continue with that thought and go on to Joseph Scott Morgan with my dog's below me and I can't even. Wes, I'm going to take you out of here, guys. He's down at my feet and the bed just ripping him. So, whew, it's hard to sit here. Why do I got to get the stinky dogs? All right, let's go. Let's talk about this because we've got a lot to discuss.
What do we know about those men that showed up at Nancy's house today? Well, we don't know much. I don't believe they were law enforcement based on what we saw, but they went around the side of the house. There were 3 of them. What was most interesting is they seemed especially interested in the front door, which is, of course, where, we saw the blood drops. And then they opened the door, they went in. There was some speculation that they could be locksmiths, although I'm not sure that really makes any sense. But they were here for about an hour, and then they were gone, Jesse.
Brian, I want your take on what the sheriff had to say about getting definitely closer to a break. But let me just get to Joseph real quick. Joseph, I understand you might have 2 theories about what may have happened to Nancy that we might not be thinking of.
Now, again, just remember the very most obvious information is that's fine. Yeah, maybe they did think she had jewels. I had talked about them thinking maybe she had a safe with a bunch of money, right? Jewels, gold, silver, and he was a jewelry maker. And they went in and they are pissed off because they didn't get a cash full, or Nancy didn't just she wasn't accessible to just write them a check or, go into her safe, and it pissed them off. So then they took her life, but they're not going to leave her there because then they can capitalize off of at least trying to get something. I don't think that is the motivator, though. I really don't. What's up, Royal Bitch X? I love to just say your name. And Barbie, you're an audio engineer? Like, that's like an electrician, like. Yeah, no, it definitely wasn't a robbery. She said she had cash, I believe 300, and they took nothing. Exactly. And they would be going after that $1 million if it were a money motivator.
Well, yeah. I mean, first off, I think that, going with what Brian is saying about the blood deposition there in the front at the door, I think that is significant because this is an act of violence. And we have confirmed, or they have confirmed at least, that is Mrs. Guthrie's blood that was.
I don't know what question you have, Synth. Are you asking me about this? Because I have no idea about any nearby reservations. Synth texted me and said, answer my question. I'm like, I don't know. I don't know the answer. Does anyone know if they talked about anyone on nearby reservations? This literally the first time I've ever heard of that was in your question right now, Synth. So if anyone else knows, I'd be happy to answer. I just have no idea. Guilty of crime. I've spent 35 years plus in a skilled trade as a female electrician. My feeling is the electrician contractor is absolutely a viable lead. And there you go. Agreed. Anybody that was on that property, a house cleaner, a pool cleaner, someone that mows the lawn, any of the people that were around and coveting her and knew who her daughter was and her stature. Yeah, anybody, any of those. All right. Let's continue. Elder abuse is what Joseph Scott Morgan is saying.
Paused there. I have my own thoughts about the nature of the deposition and what it kind of stems from. And that was a sudden taking, if you will. The one shot there where you have that kind of expirated blood that is in that large patch. You've got the larger elements of blood there. That expirated blood, which I think are the tiny little dots right there, that's evidence of somebody probably coughing or sneezing out blood deposition from right there. And this blood is not indicative of, say, having a cut on your hand and it just kind of free falling.
And then you have this other idea about her age and her being a vulnerable victim.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you guys realize how many cases I've worked over the course of my career in Atlanta and New Orleans that involved ransom? Zero elder abuse. I've had people that have taken advantage of the elderly because they knew that they had money and they bum rush them into their house and they snatch them out of there, or they do terrible things like murder inside of the house. She is a much more valuable target to them if they had foreknowledge of whose mother she was.
And it's easily accessible. When I was first looking this case up, I'm seeing Nancy Guthrie on the Today Show with her daughter, all right, making chicken or what have you. They were very, very close. All right, found by a random wandering guy, I heard. I don't know. I am Two Bear says, in New York, you hunt for apartment opening via the obits. I wonder if it's the house that was wanted. Yeah, I mean, we can tell you what it's not.
that doesn't take a deep dive here. And so if they think that they can get anything out of her, so I think that comes to local knowledge. Who knows this? Is this somebody's, grandson that might be in the neighborhood that has some knowledge that's been talking about this for a protracted period of time?
Right.
I wonder if it's gang related. I wonder what they're pressing relative to the gang associations in Pima County, because this smacks of this relative to targeting her, speaking her out.
And let me, Brian.
No, maybe that was an afterthought. Maybe they targeted her and they thought that she was going to have more. All right. And yeah, being older and living alone makes it terrifying. You say you never used to close my blinds and now you do, Wolfpack, right? I'm really surprised that she didn't have just security everywhere, cameras everywhere, alarms. Everybody detained and those whose car was taken is still on my bingo card. And they are. We're going to get to that next because I don't know why people are forgetting about those people that they had to get a federal search warrant for. A judge had to sign off on not just a federal, but an emergency federal. And when let's say they pulled over when they got Luke, They pulled him over when he was driving, which becomes even more dangerous and can lead to a high-speed chase or what have you. So they did this for a reason. JLR will peek into your blinds and get everything. I love that. He sure will.
And I'll give you a chance to respond to that since you've been on the ground and know this case better than anybody else. But also, I wanted your response to where the sheriff says they're definitely closer to finding a suspect. But I mentioned before all the seemingly gaps in this investigation, or at least what they know.
Yeah, and he's been saying that for a while. There were a few other things he said today that really stood out to me. One, he was asked about that new surveillance video of the car from 2.5 miles away. He said that it is part of the investigation, but he said that they are looking at hundreds of thousands of cars, which my jaw kind of dropped, like hundreds of thousands. How could that possibly be? I don't know if it's from traffic cameras, but that wasn't really encouraging.
Now, and it sounds like he's just, he's just exaggerating to get his point across. Now, Roxy says, inside job. Kayla is Mr. Guthrie's great niece, and she was very close to Nancy. She needed money and would do anything. Now, thank you for bringing up Kayla, because Kayla is into DRUGs, and Kayla goes with Luke. Luke was on the news, yesterday and the day before. They have not been ruled out. So thank you for saying that. And then, yes, looking at theories about the same address tied to electrical work that was done for Nancy. Although it's important to note that the location is part of a very large mobile home community called Mountain Vista, and there's no specific unit number that was identified. So we go back to what else? That's a search warrant that was being served. Now, I remember Dolly saying that he was heading over to a scene where he thought the search warrant was being served right now. So I was hoping that there would be some breaking news while I was on here. All right. So it looks like they're possibly going to be serving another search warrant today or tonight. So we'll see. How come the Bitcoin text is not arrested? There you go, Shanna. We got the Bitcoin text guy, which is also related to Tommaso and Annie. What happened with that? Did all these people just go away? She was arrested the day before Luke and detained. And yeah, she gave up Luke's name and still in there. Kayla is not related. I have proof, Bondage says. Okay, well, she's still arrested. And yeah, I'd like to see that, though. What do you know that we don't? Right. Yes, they found a car. I keep saying this. All right, let's continue.
JD heard him say that. The other interesting thing was in terms of the backpack that the suspect was wearing that they've been saying was bought at Walmart all along, and we know they were going through the Walmart sales records. Today, he said that they believe the suspect may have gotten it secondhand. So he didn't necessarily buy the backpack himself from Walmart, which is something we haven't heard the sheriff say before.
Brian, real quick, about 40 seconds to Joseph's theory. If someone bum rushed her, jumped in, maybe was trying to get something from the house, do you know if anything was stolen from her house?
Not that we know of, no. And I heard what Joseph was saying about the blood. One thing I've thought about is I think it may be an indication that she was alive when she left the house, because if she was already dead, you would think, I mean, I hate to talk like this, but you'd think they would have wrapped her up. Or why would there be those blood spots coming if she was already dead? So I think it's a sign that she was alive when she left.
Gentlemen, I wish we had more time to talk about this because there's could be a number of theories we go through. But Brian Enton, Joseph Scott Morgan, thank you both so much as always.
All right, we got a lot to discuss still, guys. Thank you for being here. Do me a favor, hit that like button, subscribe, hype the video, get yourself a membership. This is not a cold case. This is absolutely not a cold case. And I will continue to talk about it until we end this episode. All right. Flojo TV says the garage opened and closed in 2 minutes. Sounds like a short time to walk up the driveway in the house with limited mobility. Who even opened the garage? Now, Flojo, I'm going to answer this real simply. I've been following Jennifer Coffendorfer. You know who that is, ex-FBI. And she said that she actually timed that because she was questioning that as well. And she said, if you were to take a clock and put 2 minutes on there, you got 60 seconds times 2, you got 120 seconds, and you park in the driveway almost all the way up and let her in, it wouldn't take longer than 2 minutes for her to get to that, to get to the thing to press it down. And as far as who opened the garage, I'm sure that Annie and Tommaso probably have a garage clicker so that when they pick her up, I know many people that have garage door openers that are not theirs. So when they go, they can use it to get in. All right. So again, Jennifer Coffendorfer made me open my mind up and yeah, wait a minute. Yeah, you're right. If I sat there for 2 minutes timing it, easily be able to get out and go. All right. What's up, lady? All I can see is Lady today. Kayla is the least connected, if not involved. Kayla, however, is not related to Nancy. She's not, but she is with Luke, correct? All right, let's continue. Now I want you guys to see what happened. What happened with all of these arrests, polygraphs, all this. They haven't told us anything. So no wonder we're over here speculating because we know nothing. We know nothing about the outcome of what they've started. So let's talk about this then. The people that were detained, what happened to them? What happened to the polygraphs? Did they really pass them? Are they really cleared? Did they give the car back? Not yet.
I don't think it's a cold case, and I do think we're going to see a resolution here. It might just not be as soon as we hoped. You guys remember there was that raid with the SWAT team and the FBI that happened just 2 miles from Nancy's house a couple of weeks ago. The one, it was a Friday night. It was the one where I got into the perimeter. It was really intense. And we actually thought this was finally going to be it because there was so much law enforcement and they served the
So that's why we're going back over this stuff. This is new, by the way. This is a new episode. And Brian Enton's thinking the same way. He's like, wait a minute. We got thrown all of these things at us at one time. We got a ton of evidence. We got arrests that weren't officially arrests. We got people detained, things taken away, things haven't given back, polygraphs, and we know nothing. Yeah, Kayla, you say Kayla related to Mr. Guthrie, great niece, right? It doesn't have to be a person that is necessarily related. It can just be someone that covets them. It could be somebody that every time they have a Christmas party, it could be a girlfriend's, a girl's boyfriend or vice versa. You know what I'm saying? Even if they didn't have a remote, you would use a keypad. There you go. Or nowadays, everything's done on your phone. So maybe you go like this on the app, push it, and it opens it and closes it. Everything's done that way. All right, let's continue. I thought Brian was with the cartel. The guy yesterday was cray. There's a lot of crazy stuff going on out there.
this federal search warrant at this home. And then they also pulled over a man just like a few blocks away in that Range Rover. His name was Luke Daly. And then they impounded.
And Luke Daly is also connected to Kayla Daly. Am I correct, guys? So remember, we've got all these people. Tammy Dorset says it was my understanding that her niece is different, Kayla. So we've got all these people. I haven't actually seen proof that Kayla is related, and they don't have to be physically or by blood related, just in the vicinity, knowing who she is, what she has, how much money her mom makes, etc. All right, that guy was creepy. Yeah, there was a creepy tweaker type of guy out there. Now with this is the Range Rover that got pulled over, and he went on the news and crying.
The Range Rover, and then it was his mom's house that they searched. Well, I'm learning now more about what happened behind the scenes. I actually just interviewed Luke Daly, now has a lawyer, who says he's totally innocent, kind of similar to Carlos. Remember the first raid that happened in Rio Rico? He also got a lawyer. They say that they actually had nothing to do with Nancy Guthrie. Same thing happening here. But I had learned some interesting things from the lawyer about what he has learned about exactly what went down. I mean, and they really searched that house. They really searched the Range Rover, what they may have been looking for.
And the reason I want to know this is because that ties this up for us, because we don't know what happened. What did they give the devices back? What are they doing? The jab says, who does his makeup? I don't know, but you know what? I heard that he's getting sunburned out there because they won't let him have the tents and stuff anymore. So I think he's getting sunburned, the jab. That's why he's all His lips are all dry and he looks all like SpongeBob when SpongeBob loses all of his water and he gets all sucked up and skinny. That's what he looks like right now. A dried up SpongeBob. Poor Brian.
And also one interaction he says that his client did have with Nancy Guthrie, his client's mom actually, years ago. So this is my conversation with Luke Daly's lawyer. We were out there, when all of this went down at Luke and Mary's house. And then it kind of blew over. What happened? I mean, can you walk us through what actually happened? Did they just, was it a federal search warrant or?
Yes, it was a federal search warrant. It was executed on the house and contemporaneous to that, to Luke's vehicle. So he was stopped, ultimately pulled over.
So remember, Luke is the guy that we watched a couple of days ago, the guy that got pulled over in the Range Rover, the one that got pulled over, which is more dangerous than a regular arrest and going to someone's house. All right. In Clover Bliss, as I did a reading on Nancy's disappearance and was surprised to receive a yes of connection to Epstein. Yeah, a lot of people are talking about Epstein connections, and there are connections, but I'm just not ready to go down that road.
In the Culvers, the house was being raided at the same time. And the mom was at the house and she was, kind of detained for about 6 to 7 hours. Luke was in the car. He was detained for about the same amount of time, maybe a little less. Than he was released. And then when he couldn't go back home immediately. And then when he went back home.
So you see, this is him talking about Luke and his arrest and what happened. Why does he even have a lawyer? Well, I guess it's smart to have a lawyer. Very smart, especially if you have some weird involvement.
His mom wasn't there, and the house was destroyed, like the bottom floor of it specifically. The car was also.
You see, they tore the house up and the car. You're telling me that they got that emergency federal warrant and tore up their house and tore up their car just because Luke has brown skin and eyes that resemble? I don't think so. I do not think so. All right, let's continue. There's a lot more.
So, damage through the search. He couldn't find his mom. He was worried. I mean, it was really a kind of traumatic experience for the family. And then they were.
Traumatic experience equals they're going to sue the crap out of Pima County.
She ended up staying at her friend's house in the neighborhood. They got reacquainted the next day.
No.
And then Mary, the mom, she ended up, because of the constant presence of media, but also new media, she ended up going to stay with her son up in Phoenix area.
Yeah, true.
Was it Luke's Range Rover? Because when we were out there was a Range Rover. Yeah,
it was.
Has he gotten that back yet?
He has.
He has.
So they tested it, left it with all the, all kind of still destroyed a bit, but it was returned.
And when they do a search like that, do they have to give you a copy of the search warrant?
Typically they do. I didn't see one produced for, they may have, I don't know. I didn't see one produced for the Dalys. I wasn't given one. Obviously, we still haven't seen or had access to the affidavit that undergirded the warrant.
So he doesn't even know what was in that or why. And exactly, ma'am, why the tarp over the Ranger? Why did they rip the house up the way they did? What did they take away from the Range Rover and what happened? And you're right, Roxy. Mab was saying that too. Luke lied twice, says out of the drug world over 2 years, yet it's only been 8 months. Says he doesn't know that girl really, but knows her well, both drug trafficking. Now remember, she's still locked up unless she's been released. All right. Bumbling the case is an understatement. Well, I don't know.
Do you have any idea why they chose Luke and his mom in that house and the car?
I do not. And obviously we're very, very curious to see this affidavit, but I don't. And Luke does not either, nor does his mom.
The other man, Carlos, we interviewed his lawyer, the one who was from Rio Rico, kind of a...
Please don't forget about all the people detained and then released. What happened to the evidence? What does the affidavit say? What do they want? Okay? It's all of that. It's all of those things. Even the lawyer doesn't know. It would give us a huge clue if we were able to see that affidavit and what they were looking for. But that's not going to happen.
Similar situation.
Right.
And, he was a delivery driver and his lawyer thought maybe like he had been in that area, maybe, just with the geofencing that may have connected him to that area. Do you think it's this? I mean, did they say if they drove through that area, your clients?
It would be rank speculation on my part. I have no clue what undergirded it. I mean, we were speculating that maybe some confidential source threw his name out there for some reason, but we have no idea. But as far as we're concerned, it was completely baseless and is going nowhere. And as this storm of media and this beast that needs to be fed passes, you know, with Iran happening now and other stories taking primary position, the problem is that you still have the sort of destruction of people's lives in the wake of this story that moves on imminently and inevitably. But, you know, the dailies are left picking up the pieces literally of their home, which was destroyed in the search warrant, as well as their tattered reputation. So that's why they finally, you know, decided to come out and speak to the press, just to get their story out there.
Okay. So like Carlos, that guy's went to several different news stations and given 7 different interviews, but he also says several different things. And everyone says the same thing about Luke. But I ask you, why did the band member, right? It was Derek Kalella. Am I saying the name right? Why did he send a text message to Annie and Tommaso about where's the Bitcoin? We're getting tired of it. Or was he joking? What happened? What were they doing? Were they trying to get a cut in on it? They had nothing to do with it. I don't get it. Come on, Mr. Lawyer, say it. Reputational damage. Cha-ching. Oh yeah, 110%. That's what he's going for.
And proclaim their innocence and wish the Guthries their best.
Do they have any connection to Nancy Guthrie?
They live in the same area. That's it.
But they've never like met her or anyone in her family.
From my understanding, Mary Daly years ago had a circumstance where they ran into each other, and I think she was with Savannah. And maybe out at a grocery store or something like that, but rather inconsequential.
Just like Mary was a fan, sort of thing, like that kind of a run-in, like she saw them, or
I don't even know the circumstance. I just was informed by Mary that years ago that happened.
Wow.
But no, so they're not friends or anything.
No.
What happened at their house? Like, I mean, because we were out there. They were there for a long time. Like, in terms of, did they search the whole house or
meticulously? And
another thing too, they keep on saying that they don't know Nancy or Savannah, but then on an afterthought, oh well, yeah, I do remember seeing her this or that. Come to find out now, Luke's mom that was also detained didn't know her at all, but then people are saying that she was a fan. All right, so I what happened? They're not telling us any of this. All right, Derek on California and Luke got travel permit to California late 2025, online public record. All right, they were there for 6 hours, and remember, we're questioning what were they doing with that tarp?
Destructively, they went through the whole, ground floor, breaking doors. If they were locked, breaking doors, and just leaving no stone unturned.
Could you tell, or could they tell what they were looking for? Like, was it
something
specific?
And Mary didn't know. I don't even think she. Initially, is my understanding that she didn't know that they had warrants, and she was just being helpful. Like, yeah, any way we can help. And she was detained and put in the back of the car and sat there for hours and hours and hours, and actually was able to go into a neighbor's home for a while, and she ended up sleeping at the neighbor's home. But that's what happened.
Did they take their phones?
They took Luke's. I don't know about Mary. They did take Luke's. I don't have any results of a dump or a download from that.
But he got it back?
Unsure of that.
Okay, because I know Carlos, the other situation, I don't think he's even gotten his back still, or as of a week.
I'm saying unsure.
Okay.
I don't think that he's gotten it back.
Okay.
He's told me he's gotten the car back, of course. They've access to that.
I mean, that's not even a funny joke to send a text message like that. If I was, let's say, oh yeah, hey, back in the days, I worked with my buddies at the tattoo shop, and then my mom gets kidnapped, right? And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, my buddies from back in the days send me a text message, and they're like, hey, where's my Bitcoin? We're getting tired of waiting. That is not funny. Was it supposed to be a joke? Was he trying to play off of something? Were they trying to I don't get it. I don't get it. Luke isn't the band. No, Luke isn't the band. But I don't know what we're talking about here. or who's saying what. Range Rover was recently purchased by Luke. He did not have on 131. Interesting. Yeah, some of you guys that are local or that have literally just only been following this case know those tiny little behind the scenes details. And I appreciate it. Thank you.
House, of course. But I think they still have the car. Excuse me, the phone.
Was there a brother too? Does Luke?
Okay, did you hear what he just said? He said, I think they still have the phone. All right. And I've heard others say that they still have their phone, as well as, like, for instance, Annie and Tommaso, they still have their car. They've been set to get rid of or to give it back for days, and yet it still hasn't. Kayla's a tattoo artist and they use black gloves. Yes, ma'am. I talked about that as well. As a tattoo artist, not only do you want to use black gloves, but you use thick black gloves so the needle doesn't poke through your gloves on accident and your gloves aren't all messy, smeared with ink, because that doesn't look good. All right. Doesn't look good. It's not a good look at all. All right, let's continue.
Have a brother?
Luke does, and the mom, who's elderly and has some health issues. The stress of this absolutely was detrimental to her mental health as well as her physical well-being, and she went to live with her son Matt up in Phoenix area.
So yeah, because initially we heard something like there was a man detained in a Range Rover, and then there was a mom and another man or another brother detained at the house. I guess that's
the other brother was never detained.
Okay,
is my understanding.
Okay. What was the other question I was going to ask you? I mean, you a longtime lawyer do you think that should authorities come out and clear them? Because like you said, I mean, his name is now everywhere. And same with Carlos, the one from Rio Rico. Do you think
they can't clear them? They're not even done processing information yet. They can't even go back and say, oh, we've looked at their cell phones. There's nothing connected. We've looked at their car. There's nothing. There's no way. They cannot do that. What's up, Matthew Greco? Good to see ya. Come on in. Okay, say, Mr. Lawyer, emotional distress. Cha-ching. Oh, he's totally pushing it right there. Yes, Kayla's in jail. Luke phone kept. Derek C. made the call to family members after text. In my opinion, it's over. The only thing left is the lawsuits. Oh my goodness. This case, well, we haven't brought Nancy Guthrie home, so this case is not over.
They need to make a public statement or something?
That's one of the things that the dailies are seeking. Again, as I mentioned just a moment ago, a storm can't come through, destroy things, reputations, lives, homes, and then when that's gone, who's to pay the cost? Who's to pick up those pieces? You know, I mean, there is
and that's why I say there's no way that
you guys in another episode, there are certain
rookie mistake. All right, look, there's no way that law enforcement did all of that wreckage just to get nothing out of it. There's no way a judge is going to sign off on these things and have somebody's car for days and their cell phone for days and rip stuff apart and be like, oh, sorry, my bad. That warrant didn't have anything to do with it. All right. They're trying to redirect. I don't believe that. It's not believable.
Cell phone was in this area around a certain time frame. Perhaps that's what the deal is with Luke Daly also, although he says and his lawyer says that he actually was never in this area. So we'll have to wait and see what is actually going to potentially connect him to all this, although, again, his lawyer says he's not connected at all. But there had to be something in that search warrant because, again, you can't just get a federal search warrant without, they must have had some meat on the bones, even if it's...
Ding, 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 guys. There had to be some meat on the bones, essentially, which means there had to be evidence drawing them towards and getting a judge to sign off on a federal warrant. You just don't go around messing people's houses up, taking their cars, detaining them when you have nothing. All the players are pieces to the puzzle. I agree. And we keep forgetting about them is why I'm coming back around to where are those people? Yeah, what is the probable cause? Even the lawyer doesn't know. You all accusing others like you did the family. No, we're not accusing others like we did the family. Are you a true crime person? Are you? Only takes a few hours to clone a phone. So I don't know why they should still have them. Small town, ill-equipped. Nah. What's up, Casey Case? Good to see you guys. Don't forget to hit that like button. It's free to do so. Thank you. Yes, we're not going to forget what happened to all the people that were detained and released that haven't been cleared.
It didn't pan out. There had to be something there for them to be able to go in, take his cell phone, detain him and his mom, search the whole house. And you heard the way he described the way that they searched the house. So we'll keep trying to get it. At some point, they'll have to unseal it. It might not be soon, though, but we'll keep trying. I mentioned it's been 1 month now since Nancy went missing. I've gotten to know a lot of the neighbors out here. I told you guys, the sheriff made it difficult for us, and the county, no parking allowed out here anymore. But the neighbors, we've gotten to know very well. We kind of know them and all their dogs because they all walk their dogs. And one of the neighbors has been especially nice, who I see all the time, a guy named Jeff. And he actually lives right behind Nancy Guthrie's house. You can see Nancy Guthrie's house from Jeff's backyard. And he'd met Nancy several times before and just has an interesting insight into what the neighborhood is like, how everybody's doing now, and what he thinks may have happened. So I just talked with Jeff a little while ago. I wanted you guys to hear that conversation. So Jeff, you live kind of behind Nancy Guthrie, kind of to the side.
All right, and then we're going to move on to the next thing to talk about the evidence and what is not going cold and how it's heating up, so you guys know. And I know you guys seem to be invested in this case like I am. It's hard not to be. All right, yeah, we thank you, Barbara Allen. At the very beginning of the show, we said the DNA was a match, but it was a match to a worker that worked in a restaurant across the street. It has no weight to carry in the Nancy Guthrie case. What's up, Truth Seeker Jacqueline? Good to see you. Synth says I'm heading to church and dinner in 30 minutes. You go for it. Have a good time. Be safe. We aren't accusing, we're following logic, right? Yeah, you get these trolls in there that say stuff like that.
Sure, around the corner.
Around the corner.
A few doors down.
How are you and
Right?
your wife doing? It's been about a month now.
I think collectively, the entire neighborhood obviously are saddened, hopeful at times. We've had some moments where we thought there was a breakthrough and we thought that there could be resolution, but we are still trying to keep that hope. I know there was talk of a vehicle potentially identified and some other leads. And I think even us talking today and what the media is doing is to keep awareness, keep directing people to the tip line, making people aware about the reward, and keeping people aware of what has happened.
Yeah. How long have you lived here?
About 6 years.
6 years. And I can't remember, where are you guys from again?
Originally back east, but most recently New Mexico.
New Mexico, okay. And it seems like a lot of people here moved here from somewhere else.
It's funny. There are some long timers. My understanding is that Nancy's lived here since 1975.
Yeah.
There's some folks.
Yeah, that house was where the children grew up, allegedly. So that being said, everybody and anybody would know who she is, where they live, what the connection is. Have they sent any notes? Well, listen, I heard that they sent another note to TMZ, but TMZ wasn't going to tell us what it was. Wolfpack says my main focus has shifted to Irania. Very, very sad, all that's going on. Darlene, what is up? Good to see you. I'm glad you're not trolling. And taking Ashley Banfield's, I don't think that I said Ashley Banfield's word is gold, but when Ashley Banfield, who's been doing this for many years with credible sources, and you're looking at these people and you think, wow, Tommaso was the last person to see Nancy alive, and you start hearing about all these other things that add up. Yeah, it was a good lead. Now they told us they're cleared, so we move on. We're finding out what's happening and what's happening with the people that were detained. What's happening with the people that were released? Where is their cars back? Why don't they have their phones? What are they doing? That's what we want to know. I guess we have more questions than answers.
Who are more recent arrivals. You have folks who have retired. There are some snowbirds. So it's kind of a mixture.
How would you describe the neighborhood? Because people who haven't been here, it's different. You have to kind of know it to really understand it.
It's beautiful. Yeah. It's a beautiful backdrop of desert. As you see the mountains.
I'm going to go past this because, this is kind of just like the stuff that's happening around there. Neighbors coming out, wanting to talk. All right. They're guilty till Nancy is found. Everybody is, unless they're completely cleared. And nobody's been completely cleared. All right. But I do think that this neighborhood has a lot of people that have retired. We've heard about strings of robberies in the area, etc. But I don't think that this is that. All right. So let's continue, and then we're gonna hop into what do they have right now and how it's heating up.
Which is just a couple of miles from here in town. There's this memorial that has grown that says "Bring her home." And again, I use the word memorial. Maybe that's not the right word, but there's a sort of just a place that people can come and sign and show their support for the Guthrie family. And there's a ton of signatures out there. I was out there last night. There was people gathering. And that's actually the station where Savannah Guthrie worked. You remember she worked her way up in local news, which is something that I can, relate to. You start in a really, really small market and then you try to climb your way up. I think Tucson was her second job. So that's why the banner happens to be at that station, because that's where Savannah worked. And I talked to a couple of locals out there.
Now, I'm going to tell you, Lat 67, I don't know about people thinking that he looked not right because of his tattoos and beard, but I'll tell you why I looked at Tommaso and Annie. Was number one, he was the last person to see Nancy alive. Number two, by the time I had found that out, I also knew that one of his bandmates had messaged him and Annie about the crypto. And then I started looking at the images that came out the door, and I was like, man, he does have kind of a smashed face. And I'm like, wait a minute, are they trying to get power of attorney? At the time, the biggest motive would have been anything other than a kidnapping, and the target would be somebody that knew, or I should say Nancy is the target, and it's somebody that knew her or coveted. So it made sense. I don't think I'm targeting anyone because of tattoos and beards and bands, because you know what? I've been doing tattoos since I was 18. I'm 46 years old and I'm covered in tattoos, and half the time I get judged when I come on here just for how I look. So that was not my theory, but if you go back, you'll see I didn't just blame to Annie and Tommaso without anything to back it up. All right. Yes, Joanne. Who's CK? Yellow ribbons. All right. What's up, Tiff? All right, let's continue. We're about to be done with this section.
Who are just, invested in the case. They were actually surprised. They were surprised there haven't been more sort of like vigils or, gatherings that have been organized for the community to come together to think of Nancy. But they were happy to go out to the memorial, and I wanted you to listen to what they told me.
We just left her house. We're looking over there. Just support. We hope for a safe return. That's it.
Yeah, just been following them, and really want to show our support. So.
And you're from Tucson?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
What do you think happened?
I don't know. There's just so many, theories, and I don't know. It's just very, very sad, very sad. And yeah, I mean, I can see, where she lived. It's a safe community. We've lived here all our lives, and nothing like this has ever happened.
And that is the problem, is that she's lived there all of her life, and therefore people know what her routine is. She's been there since 1975. She raised the children in the house. They know when she comes, when she goes, where she comes, where she goes, what her favorite stores are, what time. And now that she's getting older, they see her walking with a cane. I assure you, most of the time, I think it's a 75% statistic that the person that committed a crime against you is somebody you know or are related to. It's not just some random. Even Koberger, in my opinion, wasn't just random. All right, Jay, that is wrong. Have you seen my hair? Oh, Carly's in the house. Smash that like button and go join our Discord. I didn't know what we were doing with Discord lately. I didn't even realize we had one, but you should go check it out. If you guys get on Discord, I'll go. All right. Let's pull this down. Let's say a prayer that Nancy is brought home, and we're going to get to the very, very latest, day 32. Nancy Grace, we're about 20 minutes into the episode, and we're talking about the family and what happens and what not, and etc. Right? This is the most up-to-date information that I'm going to give you, but we are going to continue to watch out for a possible house that is being encroached upon by law enforcement. Allegedly, they're going to be doing another raid tonight. All right. Another search, another raid. Ray, I think they might have cameras inside and outside working. We wouldn't be going through all this, right? Exactly. It's freaking 90%. It's a known person. Professionals in the field will tell. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I said like 75. Well, I guess it's gone up to 90, which proves my point even more. Thank you. I appreciate that. Amen. All right. The sheriff could have done a better job. And the sheriff even said that they botched the first 24 to 48 hours. He's still trying to defend himself, though. All right. I mean it was a 50-50. If they would have had cameras set up in the house that were recording, then we wouldn't be going through this, is what she's saying, because allegedly it was just being recorded over. All right, let's get back to here.
Mexico to try and find her mother. I mean, insanity. But let's start with the latest. Nanos blurting out he believes that Nancy Guthrie is being held close to home. Why is he saying that? And about an accomplice. What about those polygraphs? We've heard nothing about them. Okay, Dave, bring me up to date.
You know, Nancy, the accomplice. Let's start with the accomplice because.
And I'm so glad we're talking about the accomplice, because we've been talking about an accomplice for almost the entire time. And especially after the video came out where we see this, we see different posture, possibly different clothes. One's not a backpack. One night it's lit up. The other night it's black. And them trying to sell us the fact that it is or would be one person on a different night. Now they're finally talking about accomplices. Jay, love you, gal. Love it here and the people in it, all of you. Well, thank you. I hope you become a Crime Crew member. Stick around because we give away a lot of memberships. Or if you'd like to support the channel, you can get yourself a membership. All right, let's continue. Look at that. Here's the most wild thing. I'm seeing people just starting to jump on this case, and they're looking at that and like, what is that? And their theories are ridiculous because it's like, have you not been watching this? What do you mean? What is that? Miss Kaiser says, you're my favorite. Keep up the good work. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. A much kinder crowd than when we started in the beginning. And I was told that I give a gay vibe off, and it's just not right. The low-hanging fruit, baby. While we're stopped, guys, do me a favor, hit that like button, and don't forget to make sure you get all the notifications. Thank you, Joanne. I appreciate it. We had quite a night last night. Branded channels could not get gifted to all others. Make sure your gifting option is on. Thank you, I am Two Bear. I do appreciate that, and I cannot wait to go to Vegas. CrimeCon 2026. Jay is the boss. Applesauce. You rhymed and you didn't even know it. A poet and didn't know it. All right. Yep. Sorry.
At the time, he was the longest serving elected DA in the country.
Let's go a little back. I got caught up.
Front door, and we don't see a second person, but we know we've got an 84-year-old woman who lacks mobility and is going to need help to leave. A lot of what Nanos is saying, I really think he's just kind of theorizing in his head and just blurting out ideas because he doesn't know what to say. But Nancy's suggesting.
Appreciate you.
Do you recall what I told you? My elected district attorney, he was like a grandfather to me, Lewis Slayton. At the time, he was the longest serving elected DA in the country. I believe it was 37.
I just got fired from my own stream. And welcome new subscribers. Victoria, good to see you. Sherry says, you crack me up. It's good. And I appreciate new people that come in. Song of the Bride, appreciate you. Your first time here, so we're shouting out to Song of the Bride. Welcome. All right, let's continue. I can't be fired because I'm in the middle of a stream. Maybe later.
Years. And he had a rule. Do not speak to the press. And whenever I would be cornered coming in or out of the courthouse, I would always say the same thing. They seemingly never caught on. I would always say, I believe the jury will return a true verdict. That's it. That would be it. So all the spinning out, let's say, I'm just talking out loud. It's insane. That's a huge, huge no-no. To Franz Borchardt joining us, criminal defense attorney, founder of Borchardt's law firm, former prosecutor, professor at Louisiana State University. Franz, that's just what the defense team would love and what the kidnapper loves. He is, and it's a he is getting all of his information, anything he needs to know from Nanos.
Which I have to beg to differ because Nanos isn't really telling us much and we're asking for more. So maybe we don't want more for the air quote kidnappers, and none of it makes sense. And the room, nothing, literally nothing. I don't get it either. I don't know how somebody could be close to the family and not know that the Ring camera was there after they were already scoping the area. And so they used plants to try to disguise it, which is just dumb, right? Like dumb. Darlene, give my love to the wife and the kids and the fur babies. Absolutely. I think the perp was looking down to not trip on the steps, right? He forgot there were steps and he forgot there was a camera. So let's use the shrubbery.
I can't believe they are still talking to the press. And you're absolutely right, Nancy. If as a defense attorney, I'm just taking notes. I'm sitting back and I'm going to do a search for any and everything that was said before the arrest, because eventually they're going to make an arrest on this one. But yeah, he needs to shut his hole and stop, because he's not helping the investigation.
To Brian Fitzgibbons joining us. And Brian, I'm going to circle back to you on the possibility that this is a cartel operation, which is far-fetched, extremely far-fetched, but I'll get you to explain why so we can put that away and get it off our table of analysis. Brian Fitzgibbons is joining us. He's the director of operations at USPA Nationwide Security. What is that?
He looks serious. I want to hear what he has to say. He's very serious about this.
He leads a team of investigators around the world finding missing people. He is a Marine vet. He is a former Marine and an Iraqi war vet. Let me talk to you about the possibility of an accomplice.
Yes, finally. All right.
Because it's been out there circulating, and then Nanos blurted it out that he thinks there may be an accomplice. Why he said that? I mean, really? It's just like waving the red flag in front of a bull. It's like putting on the overhead speaker in high school. We now know there's an accomplice.
And guess what, guys? That's what we don't want, right? That is absolutely what we don't want. But at the same time, we're all so anxious to know, why aren't they telling us what happened with the people that were detained and released? What are they doing with the evidence? So I want you to know that what Nancy's saying, obviously, is, in my opinion, is 100% correct. We do not want to tell those people our play-by-play, so to speak. And it's not our, because I'm not part of their team. They don't want to tell them the play-by-play what they're doing so that they can, do what they need to. And why I do not believe it's a cartel. The cartel is not going, in my opinion, not going to be emailing TMZ and letting the whole world know that they committed a crime. They just wouldn't do it that way. I know it. Hey, don't ask me how.
And we're coming after you, which in my mind would only make the accomplice panic. But that said, what leads you to agree or disagree regarding an accomplice?
I certainly agree with that, Nancy. I've been saying this since we started covering this case.
Yes, amen.
First of all, just like we call him, the bungling kidnapper on the porch, this is indicative to me that he's being controlled and supervised by somebody, that he did not do this alone.
No way, no how, and there's no way as well, had he been the person to case this house, that he would walk up to the door and then try to cover it with that. He could have just used his hand. His hand was already blocking it. He made us be able to see him even more by going and bending down and grabbing it, because now we're like, hey, wait, what's wrong with your leg? Why are you standing like that? We can see his posture, his stance. We can get a height from him. We can try to get the possible weight. We have a lot more to go on because the bumbling idiot did that.
This was just a foot soldier that was sent forward, to disable that camera and gain entry to the house. So I think his lack of sophistication on that porch itself shows that there's someone else involved who's his superior.
Nobody is biting about the backpack. I keep saying it, and nobody's touching it with a 10-foot pole. Fitzgibbons, he comes up to the scene. Let's see him when he first approaches.
Maybe.
Who gave him the backpack? Because there is absolutely a moment he doesn't have the backpack. Where did it go? Who gave?
I've been dying to talk about this, so I'm so happy. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you for just being part of the channel. All right. I appreciate you so much. And you're right, Joseph. He may be bumbling, but he got away with it so fast. But I don't think it's just him. All right. There's others, and that's what we're going to talk about now. Now, you can see, Matthew says you can see the walkie-talkie, and we talked about that, a possible walkie-talkie. We don't know for sure. They need to freeze Nancy's account and hold to exactly, Robert. Yes, but here's another thing. If they don't freeze her account and all of that stuff, we're going to get an even better idea of who did this. We want to see activity. All right, let's talk about the accomplice. I've been talking about that with y'all since the beginning.
Give it to him. Was it in the car? Did he have to go retrieve it? Did he put it back in the car? So if there is a car, trust me, he didn't leave it laying out on the front lawn. So if there's a car, is somebody in the car? Do you really think, just think about it forensically, clinically, would he do this alone? Because the reason I care, Fitzgibbons, is the more people involved, the more likely somebody's going to talk. You've got an extra girlfriend, you got an extra grandma or mom or an extra neighbor or little sister. Somebody knows something's up. And that reward is climbing. That's why I care if there's an accomplice. They can both go straight to hell and burn.
I love that she just said that. That's her age that says they can go to hell and burn. That's so funny. Sorry, guys. I got to stop there. But yes, now that we're stopped there, if you know something or you think you know something, just call in 1-800-CALL-FBI. There's an anonymous line, 520-882-7463. The good thing about having bumbling idiot accomplices is that one is going to roll over and say, you know what? This got out of hand. Yes, I was in the car waiting. They could lie, right? I was in the car waiting. They weren't supposed to do that. They came back out and they brought her in the car. All I was there to do was a robbery. I didn't want anything to do with this murder. But that's the thing. The more people that you have involved, it's so much better for us and law enforcement, I assure you, because somebody's going to flip. And somebody's going to say, you know what, I'm going to take that risk to get that $1 million. And I'm just going to say, whatever it is. And you're right. Dead people don't talk. So that's another thing. We hope that doesn't happen. All right. Let's continue.
For all I care, but I want to catch them. So what do you think about the backpack aspect?
Yeah, and there's one. I agree with you there that backpack wouldn't have just been placed on the ground randomly. In that first video, when you see him approaching the porch, there's a shadow being cast from the left to the right. All right, indicative of that motion light that was destroyed. When you later see him without the backpack on, there is no similar shadow. So you can extrapolate from that he may have had tools either to gain access or to destroy that light, which we know was indeed destroyed on that side of the house.
And I do think that he was looking down because he realized that the camera was there and he was not trying to get his eyes. Now, whether he initially looked down because he didn't want to trip is another story, but I absolutely believe he did not want to catch those eyes, because having your eyes is so telling, especially if you get DNA to match and then you find that DNA that matches and you get that picture of that person. Jurors see it. And again, once you see something, you can't deny it. It's hard to unsee, even if it's not real. It's hard to unsee. It's like that whole dress scenario. Is the dress gray or is it whatever? Whatever. I always am the opposite. It's purple. No, it's gray. It's purple. That's the kind of thing that he's trying to avoid, in my opinion, by looking down. This just shows you that this person is a rookie and that they don't know what they're doing also, by having the wrong gun. We don't even know if what type, or even if it is. What if that's a 3D printed one? What if it's a BB gun and they just used a holster? Nobody that knows gun safety or how to use it, etc., would ever carry like this. And you wouldn't carry it on the outside either for everybody to see. Maybe that was purposefully. All right.
So how does that fit into the accomplice theory?
Yeah, that he's passing off that equipment after he's done with it, either storing it in a car because, now it's pitch black out in front of the house. You're not just going to leave the backpack in the pitch black on the ground.
Brian Fitzgibbons, that's really astute. Let me keep looking at this while Brian talks, because I want everyone to see what he's talking about. You're right. When he walks up, there is the shadow. You can see that bright night light is on. And it's not just his bike light. It's lit up behind him, behind the bike light as well.
And that's why I believe they say it's a different night as well, because you can't see anything with the other intruder, so to speak, the one that doesn't have a backpack on, and they say it's him. It's all blacked out.
Okay. Then as you look later without the backpack, everything's dark.
Look at that.
I don't believe he climbed up and got and dismantled that nightlight on his own. That's a really good point. Joining me, Dr. Michelle Joy, forensic clinical academic psychiatrist, author of The Schmuck in My Office. You can find her at West Philly Morbid Art.
Schmuck in My Office. And can you imagine? Listen, guys, you guys gotta know. Brian is staring into my soul. You gotta understand that when somebody walks up with the backpack like that, and the way he's walking and stopping, and then you see somebody that might possibly be a second person going around, it probably is. You're telling me they carried her down the street? You're telling me that this guy parked his car, walked over there all masked up in the middle of the night up to the front door, forgot that the camera was there, pulled the shrubbery off, and he was all alone? I don't think so. What if it's a mace, not a gun? And that's a good possibility, but I do see a handle or a butt to it. When you look close, it absolutely looks like it could be probably a gun, but more than likely it probably is. You can see it. All right. And it's totally dark when installing autocorrect. Yeah. I remember wearing a Halloween mask and having to bend my head down to see where I was stepping. Maybe his thick head is causing him. I think he just honestly wanted to not see his eyes, because as soon as he walks up to where it starts to light up on the porch and you can see that Ring camera, he puts his head down. So, I mean, just my theory. Maybe he's trying to walk and chew gum at the same time. Who knows?
Dr. Michelle, thank you for being with us. What do you make of the psychological evaluation of whether he had an accomplice? Did he do this all on his own?
I think
yes,
there's a lot to be garnered from the video, as the other people interviewed so far have said. But I think that what makes the most sense to me is his lack of facileness with everything, right? I know that exactly that gun there previously, some former FBI agents had spoken about just his lack of expertise with carrying a firearm. It's kind of holstered in front of him and waving around and things like this. So I think that his lack of sophistication makes me agree with the previous person that was interviewed, was that there's someone else directing most likely this.
Also, I assure you, the cartel would not be putting a gun right there, pointing right at the crotch area where it's just flopping around, because you can see that the holster, or even if you can't see it and you don't know about holsters, that holster is just flapping around. That gun doesn't even fit in the holster. So as you walk, it's going to be flip-flopping because he's got it connected to his belt buckle. There's a reason they don't make it like that. All right, maybe it's a taser. Who knows? Sophisticated or not, they haven't been found. I agree. And that's what's going to get them caught. Crazy that a man puts a gun pointing to his crotch. Every man I know protects it. That's why they don't know what they're doing. He doesn't know what he's doing. The cartel, I assure you, is going to know how to use a weapon. All right, they're not going to let it be flopping around on their junk, possibly to go off.
Because if being this bumbling, as we've used the word so far, just at the intro to the scene, you wouldn't think that he would have coordinated, anything successful enough to not only have this person, and when I say successfully, obviously tragically successfully, to, be able to extract her and to have her, disappear for this long. It just seems like something would have gone wrong from.
Now, he literally would have just been better off covering this and just smashing it down. In all honesty, you guys know how to take down a Ring camera, right? You just lift it up. It slides right on. There's like a screw into wherever it is. You got this screw that's in however you want to put it, and then it slides on top. All you got to do is slide the damn thing off. If you don't know how to slide the thing off, he's already in the perfect mode to just smash it. But instead, what does he do? He goes and walks back and grabs bushes. All right? That's not a good move. Zeros in... I'm just going to call you zeros. Synth, Jay, followers, love you all. Blessings. Jay, it's beautiful. So God blessing all. Thanks for your channel. Well, thank you for coming by and being so awesome. It's a water gun. Accidentally discharge of weapons. Oops, I shot my junk off again. Lat says, okay, I love Jay again. Love to hear that. Well, thank you. I don't want you going away thinking that I don't want you to be mad at me. Oh my God, you made my night, Jay, laughing so hard. What's up, damn Yell? I love that name. I'm glad I can get you guys to chuckle. I mean, in the most serious of times, because we want to bring Nancy home, but we're looking at this footage and we're seeing the mistakes that they made, and what can you do but laugh or cry?
His perspective, being a lone actor.
Now there is the specter of Mexican cartel involvement, but after speaking to Border Patrol officers and experts in the area, I don't buy it. Cartels usually target people within Mexico. Can anybody on this panel name a single U.S. citizen taken from the U.S. by the cartels? Obviously, no. So I've noticed in cartel schemes, they typically correspond to local events, local extortion plots, business dealings, drug issues. To Brian Fitzgibbons, do you agree or disagree? You have rescued people out of Mexico. Does this have any resemblance?
I love that she's asking about this, because this will put a lot of this to bed. What's up, Carissa? Good to see ya. Ray says, yep, my ring. I just changed mine. Exactly. And most of the time, you just put a solar panel on there and you don't have to charge it. But the people that don't, you got to take it off to charge it. It's easy to slide on and it's easy to slide off. But I tell you, make sure if you got the Ring doorbell or any of those, just pay the damn service. All right, the damn service will save somebody's life or get somebody arrested. Just pay for the cloud footage. All right, What the hell is he doing? I don't know. I don't know. What's up, Cynthia? Better late than never. All right, let's hear what he says about if this has to do with the cartel or Mexican kidnapping.
To a cartel job.
Not at all, Nancy. The primary reason is just like you said. This is a U.S. citizen, high profile in nature. This is going to draw an incredible amount of. It has drawn an incredible amount of media attention and an incredible amount of unwanted attention to the cartel from the U.S. federal government. The second point that I'm going to make is all the hallmarks of a typical cartel ransom and kidnapping ransom operation are not being met here. There would be a clear and sophisticated way to pay. They would want to be able to cash out easily and make that process very seamless.
Exactly. Point blank, period. That's all you got to say about that. They want to make it seamless. They want their money. They don't want to have some hideout bunker where they've got an 84-year-old lady strapped to a chair and shoot, it's time to feed her dinner. Oh, it's breakfast time again. Oh, it's time to take your pills. Oh, do you need some water? Can I help you go to the bathroom? No, that's just not. I know we see a lot of movies, people, but that is just not how it works. All right. You say there's a story just as bad as Jennifer Soto case. A lady in Oklahoma, surrogate, her 14-year-old who's pregnant with twins from mother's 36-year-old boyfriend. Well, you know what, Caritas, you should send that over to me. I have seen some of the news, and I have other cases to cover. So go ahead and send it over, guiltyofcrimebyj@gmail.com, or send me cases, all right? I still haven't really got much to those, but, Guilty of Crime is down there if you want to email me. All right, let's continue. Absolute prayers. Your baby can hit you in the crotch and hurt you. Oh my goodness. You just want it. You want it, and that's it. Jay, my insert just made sure that I stay safe. I have an alarm safety, go straight to the cops. If I push the button, I wish that Nancy had one too, and so do I. I can't imagine why she didn't at that age, limited mobility, way out there by herself, not driving.
This doesn't meet any of those criteria.
When it comes to Mexico, Brian Fitzgibbons, let's just pretend for one moment that she has been moved to Mexico. That's not playing into all the crazy, zany cartel theories. But if she has been moved to Mexico, what do you do to extract someone out of Mexico? We know that the feds are accessing iFamilia, which is the Mexican equivalent of our DNA databank CODIS, although it's used mostly for identifying bodies in murder cases. Also, of course, they're looking internationally at Interpol databases. I think good news is that they are looking at the Arizona database, which is a lot less stringent. You get more information. For instance, suspects are in there. Not pristine DNA mixtures are in there. The CODIS databank would not allow everything that is allowed in the Arizona DNA databank. And that's good for this case. That's good for the Arizona search because you've got a wider pool. There's over 500,000 profiles in the Arizona databank. But back to Mexico, how would you extract someone from Mexico?
Yeah, you first need to.
Yeah, we're just going to pretend like that actually happened. Wyatt says, holy crap, okay, we'll take care of that. What happened? Apparently, Nancy posted a lot on social media that might have made someone mad. Is that possible? That's how she was targeted? Barbara Allen, anything's on the table right now. Any person or any situation that is a targeted one is on the table. All right. And it's so easy. It's so easy to know somebody's coming and goings when they've been at a place since 1975, day in, day out. You see them on social media. You see them at the local stores. You see them at the restaurants. You see them on TV, and you dislike them or you're jealous or what have you. All right. Thank you, Mom. My mom says, we still have a lot of people watching. Hit that like button. We have 400 people. hit that like button. Mama Pearl said so.
To understand that Mexico is a very non-permissible environment, especially to search for a missing foreign national. This is for a few reasons. One, the levels of local government corruption in Mexico are almost unfathomable to a typical American. Second, wide swaths of territory are primarily controlled by cartels. That's both from a physical security perspective and from a political perspective. And that all leads me to say that the public, especially with such a high profile case, will lack an urgency or willingness to be involved in this search for fear of reprisals. Whether or not the cartel is or is not involved, they do control these areas. So the public will be very apprehensive.
And I agree with that. First of all, I never thought that the Mexico theory fit in at all. Joanne says anything's possible, but in my opinion, it's someone closer. I think so too. The only time I step outside of that, are they closer, is me thinking, was somebody just like had a hatred for Savannah, just really saw her over the years, caught something about her they didn't like, and decided to do this just to harm her, just to see her beg on TV to bring her mom home. That's the closest thing I think, and I still don't think it's that. But if it is, that's my closest theory that would be possible, is somebody watching her that knows. But it just doesn't seem like it's one somebody. And if it's multiple somebodies, you got to have pure rage and hatred for someone to do this type of crime with no money motivation.
To participate in this. And that all leads me to say that any search in Mexico that's going to be have a positive result is going to come through U.S. federal government diplomatic channels. That is the number one main effort in any search taking place in Mexico.
Hi, guys. Nancy Grace here. Please join us on
blah, 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 blah.
Tom Smith joining us, former NYPD detective, worked in homicide, was with the Joint Terrorism Task Force, now star Gold Shields podcast. Tom, the ransom letters.
All right, let's talk about the ransom letters, because nobody's really talking about those. TMZ seems to have gotten a fourth one, but they're not going to talk about it, and they turned it over to the FBI. We really don't know what any of them say at this point. And I got to ask you guys one thing. We're getting to the end of the episode where we're going to talk about the ransom letter, but there's also a funny part that happened on JLR. Was it yesterday? It was yesterday. And there was a guy out there that they're calling drunk. I think he's just all tweaked out on something. If you guys want to watch that with me and just get a laugh before we go, put one in chat. If you don't, then you guys can go. All right, let's continue. Deb, I hate to leave, but I had to take care of the dogs. And Chris brought dinner. Go eat. Love you. See you tomorrow. Tell Chris we say hello.
If they are connected,
funny.
How could this idiot who's trying to reaches down, grabs a clump of plants to put over the door cam, how could that guy write a very eloquent, well-worded, well-crafted ransom note? Let's see the guy. Here he goes. There, that's the ticket. I'll grab these plants. Yeah, okay, that's not working. I don't see it being the same person, Tom.
Idiot.
And I was never.
Like I said, he just gave us way more video than we needed. Electric Eye says, hey, Deb, way more than we needed. Now we got to see his posture, his size, the way he moves. Crazy guy. Never use shrubs, all right? You missed that. I don't know the guy. I didn't think the guy was drinking. No, they were saying that he was tweaked out, if you know what I mean. Like on a good one, either doing a bunch of either a mathematician or just doing a bunch of extra. I'll show you right after this.
Ever sold on the ransom notes that were sent to TMZ? Never, because of the time frame that it took to get them. Kidnappers don't work that way, Nancy. They grab their target, They set up what they want, who they're going to contact,
They're
and it's
done.
done quickly.
Yes.
Because the longer that kidnappers have their victims with them, it gives law enforcement a quicker time and a shorter time span to track them down. Kidnappings are done quickly. And on your other point, I don't think this was done by himself at all. Kidnappings are usually never done by one person.
Exactly. And they still had to carry her out. Okay. We had or I shouldn't say we, Mr. Mabster was having a conversation about this last night. And he said that it would be hard for him as a man by himself to pick up 150 pounds. Now, they said that Nancy Guthrie was 5'5", roughly 150 pounds, or as he related it to 3 bags of concrete or 2 bags of concrete. So think about it that way. Think about 2 bags of concrete that will equal 2 or 3 bags that will equal 150 pounds, and one man trying to carry those out. All right. Valerie says good night. Thank you. Good night, Valerie. All right, let's continue.
Whether there's someone sitting in a car or standing and looking around as a lookout, but there is someone else in that area helping him. To carry someone out and get someone out of a house, even remotely resisting, is very, very difficult for one person to do. And then try to get them into a vehicle is a monumental task. And I never thought this was done by one person, and I still don't.
I saw that.
You know, I am projecting, which is not helpful when you're trying to try a case. But Tom, my mom lives with us. She's 94. And
now that could happen. And I agree, Anne, because I absolutely do not think that Kohberger had an accomplice with him. I never thought that. All right. Only because I saw the training that he did. He knew about the K-bar. He knew exactly where to stab and how to get in and how to get out. But in this predicament, when we're seeing the video of 2 different people or 2 different nights and their postures and the behaviors and a possible light, maybe one going around the back, that somebody having to have drove the car, that's why I think there's more than one. Not because I think that he couldn't lift. You'd be surprised what 150 pounds you can lift when you have to. All right, Harvey Levin sitting on the edge of his bed writing a 5th letter. Oh boy, I hope not. According to the channel, another realm, which is an ice. Oh my goodness, she's who is what? All right, I'm gonna continue. I'm not gonna look. I'm not gonna.
When you try to pick her up, it's dead weight. When you try to help her walk, very often I'll just get her to sit on her walker and I will wheel her wherever we're going because it is so hard to manage her. It's like 2 giant, tall kitchen trash bags full of sand. And they go this way and that way, and you're trying to drag them. It's hard. We know that she was upright. We believe she was upright when she first came out the door because those blood drops are clearly low velocity droplets. And if you study them, you see that in one spot, there are a couple, which means she was standing still, unable to go forward, just standing there. I don't know if she's trying to get her balance, but she stood there and several droplets fell in one place. There was kind of.
Oh, they were probably carrying her out, guys. They were, if it was one person, they had to put her over the shoulder, and she's, that's not a comfortable situation. You got 2 people still not comfortable because, yeah, she was probably scared as hell, which I would be if I saw masked men coming up at, what time was it? 2 a.m. Jen Johnson says, I'll stay as long as possible. I have you playing in the kitchen. These discussions and being part of the crime crew. Keep up the kick-ass coverage. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, what if she was over the shoulder? Then her stomach was being pushed in and her breathing would have been different, right? Either way.
A satellite dropping, a grouping. That said, I think someone had to help her out the front door.
Oh, yeah.
And that's not a one-man job. Agree, disagree?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. And listen, if she had any thought in her head, we tell, people who might be abducted, even children, all right, even kids, drop down to the ground and become dead weight. Even a 10, 12-year-old kid that's laying down on the ground is hard to pick up and get somewhere, much less an 84-year-old woman. It's very difficult, and I don't think it's possible. And I am in total agreement with you that this was definitely more than one person.
If you know or think you know,
I think
remember an American hero.
That's it. If you guys want to stay here and watch for a few minutes, the guy that they're calling drunk, JLR's not calling him drunk. He's calling him all tweaked out. But before we get to that, let's just make sure, guys, if you're in the area or if you know something, please call in 1-800-CALL-FBI. If you want to stay anonymous, 520-882-7463. I'm sure they're getting a ton of tips, but if you got something serious, you know something, you think you know something, your inside information, call them. Let them know. It could help lead to her recovery. All right. Now let's take a look. This guy is wild. This just gives you the idea of all the stuff that's happening during the day while JLR is out there. Dolly's heading back there, and this is why. Nina, y'all have a safe evening. Much love, and back at you. Don't forget, we'll be back tomorrow, 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 7 p.m. Eastern. But let's take a look at this. It's pretty funny. I saw a piece of it, and I was like, what is happening out there? And thank you to the woman that sent this to me with the 6-hour and 28-minute timestamp. Check this guy out, guys. This was yesterday. JLR on the scene, which he's been every day, in front of the Nancy Guthrie house.
So, very protective. See where they pulled in?
Oh, the house down.
Yeah, she's very protective.
Watch.
Okay, but
I didn't come to fucking dance. Okay, I came to party. All right, give me Brian Guthrie's number.
Who?
Brian.
Who are you looking for?
Yep. You
let's
came to
interview
party?
you. How you doing, man?
Look, James.
My name's Alex. Nice to
James, what's going on?
James. James. I know everybody in this town. I know exactly where she's at.
We're looking.
I definitely know where she's
We're the
at.
searchers. Okay, yeah. Let me know. We're not law enforcement. We're searchers. Let us know. We're like you.
I know exactly.
Tell us.
Where's she at, James?
I'm an attorney.
Who?
An attorney has her?
Attorney drug dealer.
Attorney drug dealer has her?
An attorney drug dealer.
I don't know if he does or not, but he knows where fucking cartel money is at.
What's his name?
Walter Nash.
Walter Nash. Who is he?
Dealer.
Drug dealer.
Piece of shit fucking drug dealer.
Whoa.
Bunch of language.
No, it.
And again, guys, trigger warning. And if you don't want to, you don't want to listen to that language, well, just to understand that this is the type of thing that's going on at the scene of the Nancy Guthrie. People are saying he's drunk. People are saying he's tweaked. Whatever. It's wild. This is the kind of, yeah. And who's Brian Guthrie's? He doesn't even know. He doesn't even know. For all your hard work, love the channel. Wish everyone a safe night. Back at you. All right, let's continue.
No. He could speak. This is raw. So how do you know that he is involved with Nancy?
I don't know if he is or not, but he knows every cartel fucking person in this fucking place, man. You know what I'm saying?
How do we reach him?
I believe you. If you're local.
Did you turn that information into authorities?
You from Tucson? Yeah, I live here too, but I just moved here like 6 months ago. I love it.
I swear to God, that's exactly. If someone knows who that is, and that's why I was saying, give me this Brian Guthrie. Give me Brian Guthrie.
You live locally around here?
Yeah, Orville.
Oro Valley.
Did you give this information to law enforcement?
They already know it. I mean,
they know it, but did you give the information?
Look, I'll give you. I'll tell you what. You know what I'm saying?
Look at this guy. He's got his comb over. He keeps combing it back over. Let me tell you, they know who. He knows exactly who it is. I'm gonna play that after. Thank you, Roxy. There's a 3326 timestamp from yesterday that has some new footage. I'll put that on after this.
I mean, you need to. Look. I'm looking for. I'm trying to find this chick. Yeah. You know what I mean?
This who? Nancy?
Chicken. You know what I'm saying? I mean, chicken. You know what I'm saying?
Chicken?
Chica.
Oh, like Spanish, the chica, the female.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we're with you. That's what we're doing. That's what we want trying to do. We're
up, Jumbo?
trying to, trying to wash us. We're trying to cover
100%.
the homeless. We don't know where she's at.
I do think he was talking about the other news person, Brian Guthrie, or that isn't there a news guy? Is that what you're talking about, Jumpers? I thought he was trying to say, where's the other news guy? My God, this guy's what's up? Good to see you. The chicken? What? What is he talking about? What's wrong with this guy?
I don't know where to look.
He knows where she's at
How would he know?
because he's a fucking cartel drug dealer.
My God.
I mean, it's very believable. I don't know.
Or where do you think he's at? How do you think this guy makes money?
I don't know. You tell me.
He makes money from fucking drug dealers.
Yeah.
Who is Walter Nash?
Walter Nash is a piece of fucking shit.
Where does he work? What kind of
He
attorney?
works right downtown.
An attorney?
Like a
Hell no,
prosecutor?
he's no public defender, man.
A prosecutor? Just a defense
No,
attorney?
dude, he robs fucking drug dealers, man. You know what I'm saying? He don't work for the government. He fucking
Yes.
takes money from people.
So how about this, James? So look, if he did it, what was his motive to get Nancy? What's his motive? Like, if you know he's a piece of shit, he's a drug dealer, what would be his motive to take Nancy?
Because one of them owed him money.
Oh, that's what he was talking about, was probably Brian Enton, or he was getting it confused with Brian Gumble and Brian Enton, and he said Brian Guthrie. Anyway, we're gonna look at that new footage in a minute. It's just he was looking for Brian Enton for his nation. This guy's out of his mind.
What, a family member or something? Maybe?
Someone owed him money. Trust me, I live in this fucking place, man.
Yeah.
This is my town. You know what I mean? I mean, who can figure it out? You know, like you got my dad over there, all right? You know what I'm saying?
You
we're
and your
trying
dad?
to we're trying to
That's
figure
awesome.
like, we're trying to fix this.
So that's what we're doing too. We're just trying to find her.
You can say that too, man. I hate that piece of shit.
Oh my God.
What did he do to you? Like, how do you know him?
Yeah, what did he do to you, man?
Like, what's
Fill us
going
in.
on?
You know what I don't like about him?
Huh.
Because he poisons people.
How, with the
Drugs.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I think you should go to the police with this information. If they don't know, you said they know.
He thinks that. No, I think you should probably share that.
I think we're just coming out here. Look, I brought my dad out here. We're like, I was trying to find the reporter. Oh my God!
Oh, you're talking about Brian?
No,
Brian
fuck that guy, man. He's a fucking cartel, fucking drug dealer, man. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean?
Right.
You know,
He doesn't even know what he's talking about because Brian Enton is a no drug dealing cartel. What is this guy on?
I mean, that's where if anybody knows, that's who knows.
Do you know anybody who has any?
Who are you here with? Are you driving?
Dad. No.
Your dad's driving?
I
His
would've
dad's
said
drunk.
so your dad, huh?
And my dad doesn't
Hey, life happens, right?
You know what I'm saying? Life happens and shit, and I know exactly. If anybody in this town knows who
Is
did
it maybe because you have a grudge on him? Maybe?
yeah, maybe you could say.
Okay. You know what? I can see how that could be.
Maybe you could say. But
Okay.
no. But if anybody in this town knows where she's at,
He would not.
that's exactly no. That's exactly.
How do we reach him?
Call his fucking phone number.
Was he like your attorney one time or something?
No, actually not. I don't fucking have piece of shit attorneys like him. You know,
Was he? So how did you meet this guy?
My
drugs?
problems ain't your problems. You know what I'm saying?
What do you mean? You're explaining that. I don't understand.
My problems ain't your
You're my
problems.
problem.
I've seen.
I'm an open book. I got all kinds
Listen,
of problems. So
I've
I'm in.
seen this guy rip people off fucking left and fucking right.
What are you talking about?
That's exactly who it is. Someone knows. He's a local? Oh, 100%. Church
Oh, is
Street.
that what it is?
You know know what I'm saying? If anybody knows who it is, it's him. Because he is the biggest fucking drug dealer in the fucking whole fucking South.
So if the family members owed her money, so it was, you think the ransom was valid? Like, in other words, if he's involved, he took Nancy for...
He's not driving, folks. What's driving?
It is. No, we agree. It is very it's strange and odd.
It's very odd. I think that honestly, maybe it was some stupid kids out there doing some stupid
Very
shit.
possible. Very possible. I think we're all open-minded here. Like, since we don't know the answer, it could very much be kids. It could be a homeless guy. It could be this really, we don't know. That's why we're looking for those.
Listen, there's a $1 million reward. Don't you think you should take that information to the police?
Motherfucking $1 million.
You want it? You want the
1-800? What is it?
1-800 call FBI?
What I'm telling you right now, okay, that piece of shit drug fucking dealer. Okay, look, I'll tell you what, dude. I don't like drugs. Okay, you know what I'm saying?
I'm a recovering drug addict, but I'm clean. So I got
you know what I'm saying? I don't like people fucking poisoning people in my fucking city, bro. And that's exactly who that is. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
What about the sheriff? Nanos.
Yeah, what do you think about Nanos?
I don't know about him. I don't know if he's been out there, but I shot you. I'll tell you, look, that piece of shit fucking ruins people's lives.
Oh my God.
You know what I'm saying?
When's the white van coming? Come on.
Yeah, just busy and really hoping to find some clues.
Is that it?
I'm really interested in anything that's vehicle.
Anything that's vehicle?
Yeah.
You're doing a great job, man.
Yeah, no,
you're
I'm-
out here, doing your part.
All right.
And, it seems like you're very committed and you're into
Oh
it.
yeah, I'm on my way out here.
I think we're done with that.
I will say that
That was enough for me, but give me a little bit of a laugh. He was mixing up Brian Gumble with Brian Enton and whatever. I don't know what the guy's on, but let's take a look at that footage in case you have not seen the new footage, and then I'm out of here. That guy makes me feel like I'm on something because he's on a good one. All right, this is you sent this, somebody sent this to me. I don't know, I don't remember your name, but you asked me to play day 31 at 33:23, the footage, the new footage that came out that I didn't see, and I don't know if you saw.
Embroidered star on that jacket.
Real quick.
Other video emerges. Let's see it. Dave Mack, take a look at this and explain what we're seeing. Dave, go.
This is the same porch guy that we've been talking about, but this time it's a different place, a different angle. And as you can see, as he's
Oh, we did see this already. We saw this last week, and we were talking about, wait a minute, why is the car there with the lights on? And did he come from the car? And who's in there? Etc. So we did see this. I'll play it real quick just because you asked me to. All right. Hit that like button if you would. Don't forget to hit all notifications and hype my video if you can.
walking, he has a very specific gait, a very specific stride. Watch as he is walking. He's got something tied around his waist. Is that a shirt, jacket? This is from,
Yeah, me too.
Again, not the same house. We're not talking at the Guthries. It's a different place, but in the same general area. So we've got him walking at night. And again, see, there we go. A very specific stroll as he's walking. It's odd. Just odd that to be walking at that time.
Yes,
of the
guys,
night.
we're getting that because we have been watching you from How Tech 2 on X. How Tech 2 on X. Now, Dave, I guess you've gotten your crystal ball out yet again, and you can tell me without a doubt that that's the same guy that was on Nancy Guthrie's porch. Oh, I'd have a field day with you on Cross, but you actually may be right. Where are you getting your deduction?
I'm making it up. I'm seeing a guy dressed in very.
We looked at this, and I appreciate you sending it. We saw this. I absolutely don't think we saw this on my channel last week, and then Nancy came out with it on day 31. We absolutely don't. I don't think it's any connection to the case, nor anybody that we saw on camera. If there is a connection to the case, then it's maybe the driver or somebody else. But that guy looks like he was hustling. He knew where he was going. I don't think that has to do with anything. People are going to be putting their houses up for sale in the neighborhood. The dome light. Yep, the dome light. And so were the lights on in the car. We talked about that last week, though. So Nancy's about to spank Dave Mack right now. Let me finish playing this and then not the whole thing. Let's just see what he says. real quick, and then I'm out.
Similar outfit to the man on
Did
Nancy
you just
Guthrie's
say
house
you're making
and
it
seeing
up?
them- Well, I'm looking at
I'm
a
sorry,
video
wait.
at the same.
Did you just say you're making it up?
Well,
Okay.
yeah. I mean, I'm making up that I
Mute
actually see a
him.
guy on video.
Mute, I'm
Oh my
hearing
God.
him. Mute him, and I'm going to let him think about what he just said. Okay. In the meantime, while Dave is pondering his future, straight out of Scott Eicher joining us, digital expert, founding member.
All right, that's it, guys. We're entertained by Nancy, but we need to bring Nancy Grace. We're entertained by, not Nancy Guthrie. We need to bring Nancy Guthrie home, and hopefully this case doesn't just completely die down in the media. Now, again, unless something really big happens tomorrow, I'll be covering another case, but we're still going to be here at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 7 p.m. Eastern. So yeah, a lot of funny things going on. I showed that last week. There's a possible connection, but who knows? And cool. All right, guys, car chase. Yeah, again, there's probably going to be some breaking news tonight, so watch out for it. Dolly's back in town, and Dolly said that there may be a search warrant happening tonight where another SWAT is going to be raiding. And so hopefully, if that does happen, then we know something more about the case, or we find out something, or we're getting closer to it, because I don't know how many more people they're going to arrest or detain, and rip their house up, rip their cars up, take their phones, and then just let them go. All right. Thank you guys for being here. Thanks for everybody that hit that like, helped us get towards the goal. New members, old members, much love to you. I'm out of here. I'm tired. Happy middle of the week. Tomorrow, I'll say happy almost Friday. You guys have a wonderful night. Love you all, and thank you so much. Good night.
Guilty of crime.
I want to thank you for watching. If you enjoyed my content, please share this video, like, and subscribe. You can also follow me over at Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, X, or Gmail. If you'd like to donate to my channel, you can use Cash App or Venmo or PayPal. Thank you very much in advance. Guilty of crime.
Are you guilty of crime?